You have people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever, maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid. It's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it. You are structuring it. And from today, we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
Welcome everyone to the 103rd Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And my name's Rick Crammond, and we're about to begin today's workshop. We'll feature, I understand, Klaus has his health unit that he'll want to demonstrate or have a look at, and who knows what Mr. Keshe will be interested in speaking about today. He always has something new up his sleeve for us to contemplate. So, Mr. Kesh, are you ready to go ahead there?
Yes, good morning. Good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these Knowledge Seekers programs. As we said, it's 103. Next week is exactly 2 years. 2 years non-stop we've been teaching, spreading the knowledge, and in so many ways bringing a lot of things in the new ways for our living across this planet. We have shared technology, we have shared emotions, we have shared grief, we have shared joys of happiness, and more or less today is the day before 2 years. We celebrate 2 years of broadcasting, teaching. Next week, hopefully. Most of us have learned a lot. Most of us have made a lot of friends, and in so many ways, most of us have progressed to bring humanity closer together. 2 years ago, when we started, about 4 weeks before this, the first teachings with Rick, just as something to share knowledge, now it's become a permanent feature of the teachings. In these 2 years, the knowledge we have spread amongst the men is beyond belief. We have changed the whole science of knowledge of technology in so many ways that in 2 years no one has managed to change the course, but they have added, speeded up, and in so many ways collectively increased knowledge. As a lot of you are aware, Keshe Foundation is growing in such a way that those of us who are on the what I call receiving end or operational end, for all of you, we see changes which is going to be worse than what we thought in the stages that we cannot catch up with the speed of growth. We see it, I feel it, as sitting in where I sit in the foundation, that is growing so rapidly that it needs a new dimensions to be added to it. What we thought in the stages that we cannot background. Thank you. So what we're trying to do in this operation, we are bringing national governments in. We have to, because the resources of the Keshe Foundation, the way we are, is not cannot meet the demand. And so as we became individuals, now we start bringing a structure of organized, what I call governments, apparatus in the background of the Keshe Foundation. You will understand in the next few weeks and months what this means and how it will help us to do it. There are resources in the position of the governments that we can never have. And we see governments approaching us and seeing what we are doing and delivering what we said. And this is bringing us a lot of support. As you know, we have received confirmation of certain systems which are going to be released in the coming weeks and months by the foundation. And on the other hand, we are looking to create a condition that the momentum with what we are doing increases internationally. There are a number of things which are at this moment the forefront of the Keshe Foundation work. This is what we are trying to achieve, the first lift, conformation of the first spaceship. Those of us in the background who are aware, even just before, 20 minutes before these teachings, a team of people who are involved with these things, and last night, 2, 3 o'clock my time in the morning, the same group put in different package or different number of other people were trying to ascertain and complete a process that we can keep to the condition of a lot of things which at the moment we said is possible, now is getting tested, evaluated, played with, created, and every other shape or form that we can show you the first spaceship. The beauty with this work is it's getting done by public. It's getting done by member of public with just guide. What we've done is that we are preparing the Keshe Foundation team, students, or what we call the knowledge seekers, very rapidly for this development. I see it coming, and it's paramount that we do it. So, but the problem is that there is, especially on a very advanced stages of the Keshe Foundation, in the what I call, as we just finished with the first two knowledge seekers with Marco and Arman finishing the first 2 years, the group which started last May in Trani now is coming to its final term. And what we are doing, we're trying to get this group, a few of them, into level of understanding of the system control and everything else in every aspect. So what we've done, we touched on some teachings on Tuesday and last Thursday. As I was teaching yesterday, I only teach Wednesdays in the morning and afternoon in the institutes in 2 different courses. We opened a door because this group of the knowledge seekers, which are in the what we call like a third year, we brought it into, they are highly advancedly understanding the whole process. But on the other hand, there are others who have the knowledge or can understand the knowledge or they can use the knowledge. We passed the blueprint of the energy system, we passed the blueprint of the health and agriculture, and we did last week the spaceship. One of the things which we take man into is not so much the spaceship. When you're in a space, how you recognize, how you communicate. And due to rapid development in release of knowledge for creation of the craft, which is now we start seeing it is getting formed, it's getting structured in so many ways. It is important to bring the communication line and understanding of the line of universal communication for most of us who are working, but you're not part of this the study group. For this reason, we decided yesterday that yesterday's teaching for the first, what do you call it, what I call for the first years, which are in the final year, and part of this, what we call the 3-year course in the afternoon, to be released after the teaching of today. This is important, please. To a lot of you, this does not make sense. But to those who have followed and mature in the structure of understanding of the technology, this is the key to what we call the blueprint of the universal language. In the universe, we don't have what you call, just 1 second, I have to answer this call. It's important. Hello, I'm teaching. Can I speak to you later? Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. The people who are at this level, and you come to understand, in a space, you cannot ask, can I have a glass of water? What is a tree? What is a book? Can I read a book? These are all physicalities of the man. These are physicality of the dimension of life of the man on this planet. In a space, we don't have this. In a space, you recognize emotion. You recognize if the emotion is the same as you, or in respect to your emotion, what is the other side releasing. As I said, when we open this is important for those who will in the future, in the very near future, be open the space. At least you know what to look for, how to communicate, and we call this the blueprint of language, communication, universal communication. I teach more in depth in the background, but I thought yesterday it's important that now that we're reaching the position of development, it is important that we share the knowledge very rapidly with the others who start developing it. Today, we have done some tests in the morning or during the night. And again, the second group of the Spaceship Institute, what you call the space team and the innovation team, were on the table again. We run, I don't know, 4 or 5 hour session today in this respect. And I won't tell you what happened, but I think it'll be good for Rick, who's been present in both of them, explain to us what we've seen in the process today without releasing anything else, because as Rick is head of the Keshe Foundation group, being present in both, he can explain to us that it doesn't come from me, but we don't release any more name of who's been present in these meetings, because it shows how far we are developed and how far we are developing. Rick, would you like to enlighten us in what we've seen overnight?
Well, what can I say about that? It seems we're entering into a different realm of experience, you might say, compared to our ordinary experience with it's not the same as plugging in a maggrav unit and just looking for savings in electricity. This is a whole different realm of experience that is being encountered with these maggrav starship type configurations. There are apparently, and it can be felt, that fields are generated by these devices or by the interaction with these devices, and those fields can extend out, perhaps even beyond the reactor configuration, and into perhaps a room that's above where the configuration is, or even extending out into the atmosphere around a building, for example. There's several reports of glows and that sort of thing from these configurations. And but the interesting thing is the interaction with the emotional I call it like emotional body that we have, or emotional sensing, and ways that one can interact with this device, but also interact with your environment, because you become, I think, awakened in a way that enables one to extend some of the sensing and the feeling of the fields. This is, I think, the key phrase of the whole experience, is this feeling of the fields. Can one feel the fields? And what does that feel like? And how does one determine the extent of where the fields go, and the barriers, or perhaps the membrane where that field extends to? Can you sense being inside that membrane or that skin? And then you can sense being outside of that skin. So this is some of the experiments that are going on with different people to sense these fields. And it's a different world when we're sensing fields than when we're thinking about a problem or busy, involved, or identified with different things, because you have to be present in the moment to feel these fields. It's always a constantly changing situation to feel the effects and feel the emotion that's concerned with this situation. So this is something we all need to learn more about, that are involved with the Starship configurations and this idea of lift, but also just in general in life. This is what more and more I think we need to learn about as humans, is about the emotional realm and how that affects the way we perceive and ways that we can learn to perceive more objectively and clearly different situations. What else can I say about that? Where were you leading to with this, Mr. Kesh? I'm not sure where I'm going. I'm getting a little far astray, perhaps.
No, but in a way, could you explain to us, because you were present in both experiments today, roughly what we ascertained or we see for the person who's involved with the system? What we've seen that we see he's achieved or he's doing.
What we see that he achieves or do, well, there seems to be an alteration of perceptions, for example. Is that what you're leaning toward?
Like eating, the feeling of being.
Well, for example, if someone might feel the fields of other people more clearly, or in their encounters with others, change the viewpoint more into feeling of fields rather than seeing them as a physicality, perhaps.
Is there anything, Vince, you want to add? Because you were present in both sessions. Is Vince about?
Help me out here, Vince. I think I'm missing a point here. If you can point us in another direction, perhaps.
No, we're trying to see what we observed today with a set, which there is a person who's handling it. Yeah, that's the reason we got to keep here.
With the system over the last month or so is what he described, but the increase in the awareness between the communication of the system and the people around the person. One thing that really stood out was the fact of walking around inside of the different areas and being able to know the person, as what he described, to be able to not have that person, or to be able to see their real emotions and not have to worry about what they're speaking. They actually knew what they were, what was going on that way. The interaction, the emotional interaction with the fields is what I'm trying to get at, is the increase in sensitivity in that area. That was the what I got out of the majority of it, because if he's able to sense or do something with that sensitivity, it's another indication, it's another measurement device, it's another way to feel the fields and know what you're doing and go on the right path.
And it led to an instance of instant communication and so on, or not just an instance, but multiple instances of instant communications where the person felt that they already had the answer to the question before the question was fully asked, and so on.
Reading is intention, we call it, without speaking.
Aware of the emotional connection. I see James put in here in the chat telepathic communication, but what is telepathy? Is it the emotional side of the communication? If that's the case, then yes. Would that not be?
It was also mentioned that this idea that the walls kind of turn transparent, not just to vision, but to your presence, your
feeling that of the openness, of the having to touch the skin, but not that you're actually touching the skin, that you can feel the whole way through, like it's not there, but it's matter there.
So things become very much more of a field effects rather than the physicality, the way things look, and or just our physical appearance. It's the way it feels rather than the way it appears.
It's just the test with the banana I think was interesting. I said, I think the test with the banana, when we asked him to taste a banana or with the water.
To generate a certain emotion, to get the feeling behind it.
Yeah, that he was receiving the energy for the banana, or he wanted the desire to have a banana, but he was tasting the banana and feeling the banana.
Interaction with himself, because he's more aware of it, he's able to receive that energy of that emotional connection with that, let's say, that food.
Directly, rather than through
Actually,
the transformational process. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We try to structure. We tested the solid, which was a banana. We tested liquid, which was water. His word was, as the water is me, I'm in the water. And we tested the gas, which is the sulfur. So in a way we can feed. It's exactly, if you go back, it's on what we showed with a cup where you put the orange and you drank on top of the cup, and when you drank the water, you had the taste and smell of the water, orange. Now we're going to the steps of transferring this without the containment of the water, because 60-70% of the body of the man is water, so you don't need to bring a container to drink it. You can desire what you need, and the tangibility of receiving the energy for that is available. So in the space you can desire to have a banana, you taste the banana, you get the emotion of having the banana. These are important part of the development, that, as we said, you don't carry no food in space. It's interesting to listen to the teaching of yesterday, which we released this afternoon, after these teachings, if we don't forget. And we'll open an insight into the real space technology without all this, what I call nanomaterial, GANs material, and the rest of it, because now the whole purpose was to set a new standard, new knowledge, and now we are going in the real space direction. Yes, in a way, because do we need it? This is the question. We establish slowly, we set a line, and a lot of people will follow. We are reaching more or less to the position of the first spaceship, where people can feel they are within the confinement, when they are a part of it. We listened to a testimonial last week with another person. Renan, are you there? Is Renan part of this?
I'm here, sir.
Okay, Renan, could you explain to us regarding what the gentleman felt about the lift and how it was created?
Okay, one of our groups here who have felt an experience of levitation or positioning, when he was widely awake and was resting on the couch. So it was a couch, and star formation reactors is only 1.5 meters away from him. So he was there. It was already about 1 a.m. in the morning here, and he was resting because he was waiting for his friend, one of our group mates to come back home. So he felt in just about few minutes, he suddenly felt there's a stream of energy pushing him upward. He has a blanket at the back, so he still felt the blanket was still at his back, but he felt he was pushed up fast, quick and fast, going up, and he panicked. So what? After the panic, he tried to remove the handkerchief, which is he placed it on his face when he was just lying down resting, because that time he was listening to the teachings with Mr. Kesh. So from there, he tried to remove the handkerchief, and once he removed the handkerchief, tried to peek, he only saw in the area, in the surroundings, all are it was like in a dark place, and he got panic because he was afraid that how can he go back to the bed. So what he immediately did was he removed the cloth in his face, and after pulling it many times, because he was not able to pull it, I don't know why. So when he pulled it many times, he suddenly saw the light, saw everything again, and he was already on the same couch he was positioning. So he didn't feel any fall or a sudden drop, but very very awake when it happened. So he never dozed out when he was sleeping. He was alert, listening, and just that experience, we were so amazed on what he have experienced, because he was really sure, and he was so relaxed during that time. He was so relaxed, and was not thinking of flying or anything. He was just so relaxed and listening to the talks, and the place was just filled with the Maghreb fields. I think because the setup was already been almost a month in the house. It was just been there for so long already hanging. So the fields have been building up already. So from that, that was we're now replicating the time right now. So we're testing it again and making another formation or another setup that we can build up the fields. So that was a wonderful experience, and Mr. Kesh explained to us how to deal with it. Eventually, we can do it again with the group already, instead of having one on the person. At least right now, we already know that the person can give us the certain emotion of what happened. So when he describes it, so we can feel it the way what the emotions have been in that area, so we can do it as a group. So we're excited to do it, and we're just setting up the fields again, and Bernie is already completing the setup, and also the other team is also building another the existing setup. He just transferred the location so that we can have a concentrated field in a particular room. So hopefully, we'll as a group we can do it together. So update soon.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Thank you. So what we see, don't forget, these are specific groups or people within the structure which are getting taught, and they teach themselves for a specific target. We set up this group, especially now I think it's the second, third week, and they are getting trained towards development of the spaceship. It's not just somebody somewhere else. This is all part of one group of the elites of the Keshe Foundation, people who've been, who understand, and or have reached that point. So we dedicated a team to develop the first spaceship. with all the necessary thing which could be, but at the same time of developing, we get trained as well in what we see, what we can see, what needs to be done. And these people sit amongst the Keshe Foundation team. These are not somebody we went and picked up. These are the people who are very well understood, work and develop the technology. So in a way we have appointed a team of what we call the new plasma technology to create the first spaceship, to develop the first spaceship with all its physicality, with its own emotion, with its own structure. And we have a target, if we can meet the target, but it seems to be we are on the target. The tangibility is to be tested, then the positioning will be coming to it. But now we are controlling or developing a control that we control it with emotion and not with what we call tools. The 2 or 3 systems around the world which are getting developed are very similar, very, very different, but work on understanding that the system can be done. And sooner or later, within a matter of coming weeks, you will see in one of the teachings we don't announce, as the way we opened the blueprint of the space technology last week, the first flying object, of what we call the first spaceship. It's done across the world, that it cannot be stopped. No governmental pressure can stop the testing, and we do it openly. So we will meet on regular basis in the next few weeks till we be able to ascertain the first flying object as a spaceship. We've seen the feeding, as we explained today, how you can feed yourself. We have seen the emotion of how you can interact. We've seen the emotion of how you can create your motion in respect to the system. So in so many ways, it's an international collaboration on open lines. One of the reasons we keep it this way, we know, as I said, a number of governments are on these lines listening. So we most probably have thousands of other scientists listening, developing and finding what we find and what they can add to it. So we're coming in that direction. In the coming weeks, we will release packages of a specific system. It's very much like when in the olden days you used to bring the rocket launching of the Apollo out, and then the whole unit on the top, and then you launch it. We are doing that in an open manner, no secret developments on the grounds to be accused of anything. So you got to understand the reason we do it this way is because we are developing this, but in the background securities of different governments are listening to us. But this technology belongs to all of us. So we debrief you what it is. In a way, what we just told you about the banana is about 20 minutes now. I'm sure national scientific organizations are running to test it to see what we've done is there, because I teach, I guide, and it's carried out by physical conditions like by the team of the Keshe Foundation especially.
Yeah, hello and welcome again here from Austria. Me, Klaus, and especially our plasma energy team, which is already present today. We warmly welcome you, and we are very proud and happy to present you, to introduce you a new member of our plasma and Keshe family. It's our health unit, our health device and foods device. We call it Plasma Tree. And we prepared a brief presentation about there are pictures in it, how we made it, how we produced it. And in the first step, I'd like to share my screen and show you this presentation. This health and food unit we see as a tree. We compared it with a tree because as soon as we stand between the body parts, the idea came to us that not only the production of CO2 can be compared with the leaves, but also the whole device, the whole health device, can be compared with a tree. And as we see it, we have the trunk of the tree. This is our housing, which we made of copper. We also have the bark of the tree. This are the nano layers which appear as soon as we heat our copper. And we also have the branch and the twigs, which are in this case the plexiglass holders, which holds the coils and the batteries. And these coils are our leaves. And when we produced it, it came to us that we do not produce a single tree. It came to us that we produce a whole wood. In this case, 2 trees, a bigger one, a more powerful one, and smaller one, a less powerful one. And when we stand between these body parts of the health unit, yes, we could say we felt standing in a very powerful wood where the plasma flows through our body. And I'd just like to show you briefly in some pictures how we produced our plasma tree. At first, like I said before, we used copper tubes for the housing, and we also used copper screws. We tried only to use copper for the whole housing in combination with plexiglass. And you see it's the picture that here we screwed together the framework, the housing. And in the middle of this picture you see the coating process. We also measure the temperature just because there's a lot of literature in which there is the temperature mentioned, and we just wanted to know at what temperature the coating process, the really coating process, takes place, and we measured about 340 degrees. And we used a special way of coating. We began at the giving part on which the plasma batteries are mounted at the bottom, and coated the whole housing up, and went then to the taking parts, to the other body part, and we coated it with the gas from the top to the bottom. So this was just a feeling, because there is a plasma flow between between and the giving and the taking part, and why the reason why we coded this way is because we used copper, and we are already used to coat copper, and we just tried to coat copper tubes or coils, and it worked very well. We just had to clean them. The first try, the nano layers fell off a day after, but only because there was a dirt or a special layer on the tubes, and then we cleaned it, and the coating process was perfect for us. We tried to invent or produce a modular system, which means that we tried to design our health unit in this way that we can switch or replace the coils or the batteries very easily, or that we can adjust the height of the hanged in plexiglass holders. So on the left side you see some stages of the giving part of the health unit, and you see these connectors. We use these connectors to connect the single modular parts But we also, of course, we also nano-coated these connectors, including the isolation. And we let them nano-coat very long until we were sure that the nano-coating is also inside under the isolation. At the right side, you can see the taking part. Also, we used the connectors. And you can also see the copper screws, which we also used to hang in the plexiglass holder in order to replace them or in order to adjust the height of the coils. At the right side, you see our salt container, in which there is hangs a coil, a coated coil with plastic around it. Everything we used at the whole device is nano-coated, even the hangers, the tubes, even if it's plastic, we nano-coated everything. So, and these were some pictures now, and now I would like to show you live with the help of Sonia how this device looks like. I just switch. So, Sonia, could you please come with the camera? Okay. Just a moment, please. Okay. So, Sonia just moves to the device now, which stands behind me. And at first you can see just the leather connectors between the modules. It's sharp, okay. Geh ein bisschen rauf. Yeah. Okay. You see the plasma batteries and the coils behind. You also see the dirt plexiglass. That was a bit adventure for us because we nano-coated the plexiglass, and every time we used our cameras and pictures, we wanted to clean it, but we was a bit afraid and didn't know how much we then also removed the nano layers. So that's why they look a bit dirty. You see connector now, and also the connection between the coils and plasma batteries. We used in this device not 6, but we used at one side 10 double coils, and just show the connection between the two sides, einfach von vorne rüber, and we connected then the giving and the taking part with a copper coil and the isolated nano-coated plastic tube. And you see here now the taking part. There are no plasma batteries mounted, but there is also this modular system which connects the single plexiglass holder with each other. And Sonia goes down here now from the top coils to the bottom and shows you then the salt container, which stands at the floor. It's the bottom of the taking part of our plasma tree, which is here. At the whole device, we only used CO2 zinc cans. Yeah, and if you just come to me, we'll show you now the helmet, which we produced. Is there an autofocus? Is it sharp? Oh no, it's sharp now. Tracy. I mean, the containers in which the coils are inside are a bit bigger than the ones were produced at the Cash Foundation Philippines. The question is which is the right side, the right diameter of the coils at the helmet. Concerning the windings, we use the same amount of windings as in all the others, and we use the 0.75 square meter cable. And Sonia just tells me to switch the cameras. Okay, and you should see me now in front of the device here. I can put this helmet now on my head, and I just want to show you how our experience till now is, how you can go into the device. It looks a bit crazy.
Before you go any further,
Yeah.
this is not crazy. I've made hundreds of these helmets over the past 15 years, and I've seen it changing life. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thanks a lot. I just wanted to add it looks a bit crazy, but it feels wonderful. Thanks a lot.
I've done the same thing as you do. I still have people can tell you, I still carry some of these helmets in the lab in Italy. They're lifesavers.
Okay, and I didn't mention till now, we mounted here a nano-coated plexiglass just for people not to touch the coils. We didn't mount it, but only here for presentation, not at the other side. There are two protection plexiglass plates at the giving and the taking part. And if you go in the device with the helmet on you, we also mounted some hangers to hold, because it's a special atmosphere you enter in here, and if you feel a bit into the plasma tree, you can feel the breathe of it, and you begin breathing like the plasma tree, which says, in other words, that it came to me. For instance, when I breathe in, I just say, give me everything I need, and if I breathe out, I just say, take away, or I take away, give away everything I don't need anymore. And even if you measure the device, the multimeter, you can see how the device breathes in terms of going up with the voltage very slowly to 300-400 millivolts, and then it goes down again very slowly and up again very slowly. So you really feel that this entity is alive and breathes, and you feel like you stand really in a very powerful wood, surrounded by two plasma trees which communicate with each other. And as you can see above me, we mounted another copper coil in order to fix the whole system a bit. And we also made the distance variable, so we can plug this copper coil in different stages, in 5 centimeter steps. And it's also possible to give a chair between these two trees for people who just can sit, or who just want to sit. And yeah, I mean, this is live now, so I'd like to stay in there, but we'll go on now. Maybe with the presentation, because the thing is, a member of our family, I could say, is our first volunteer, and she also has. Yeah.
Can I tell you something? I congratulate you. It's beautiful what you've
Thanks
done.
a lot.
This is the system which are built in pieces. Now we see it done by number of people, and I congratulate you, team. And it's beautiful when you see this working, because I can teach you more how to use it. You can put people in there with cancer and walk away without cancer. You can put people in there with hunger and walk without any hunger. And it all takes a few seconds, not more. It's beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's a project of many people together here. I just wanted to tell you that we have a volunteer member of our family which likes to, I mean, we all tested it already, but which likes to test it. And I just want to describe you what the illness of the person is. She has a undefinable cerebral tumor, right side of head, since 10 years. And there is also, I can't read this now here. There is also at her left side, arm and legs, a spastic hemiparese. And she didn't use chemotherapy till now, and the doctors never found the cancer cell, but there is this tumor in her head and this spastic hemiparese. And we asked her, and she said, please show a video of me. We really asked her. It's okay for her. It's just for 10 seconds. I would like to show you a video of her. And we will document this case and just start it. Yeah.
Ja, komm bitte.
So this was a short video. She asked us to show this because she was with us from the first day, from the first second of building of the device, and she is looking forward going into our plasma wood. Well, since the other products we document at plasmaenergy.org, there is nothing on the site. Everything we did, like we did at the finished yesterday, just in
Can I
time.
ask you something, please? For not to creating division, can you link your site to the German at cashfoundation.org, please? Trying to find you, remembering is very difficult. We're trying to bring everything under one roof. Use the Cash Foundation, German.cashfoundation.org, to link these on the Cash Foundation website. Then people can find you very easy.
Yes, we are already in contact.
Yeah,
yes, and I make sure that it will be translated to Spanish also until this weekend.
Yeah, this benefit by it. To go and find a plasmaenergy.org somewhere and plasma something else, as is part of the work of the development of the Cash Foundation. These kind of teachings has to be linked that the rest of humanity can provide as a family. Join it to the German.cashfoundation or Austrian.cashfoundation.org and put it on that banner that we can give a full exposure to it. This unit is very similar to what is made in Philippines, and I know a number of other people are doing it. So it's a fantastic job. It's beautiful what you've done, but there is facilities behind the Keshe Foundation to allow you to do this. All the platforms are built. Instead of opening division and division, keep your site, no problem, but link to the Keshe Foundation, we can bring people straight away to your website. Okay.
Mr. Keshe,
As I said this morning, I don't know if you heard or not, that we've been told that 25,000 Keshe Foundation websites only in China. It's huge. Anything. So please connect it to the Keshe Foundation, Austria at austria.keshefoundation.org, that we can put it as a blueprint. This has to be as part of the blueprint to go on, that people can make it. This is the first time we see it. You've done such a detailed work, and we follow the testimonial as you report with your person. And I can tell you in a way how to do it properly. I see her hand. You can't use the helmet as it is. You have to use it in a specific way to open those hands. The epileptic attacks, as you tell us she carries, this can be stopped within a matter of 2 to 3 months. But you have to do it the proper way, properly done, not just because you build a unit. And we should see, according to the research we're receiving from China, a large reduction in the tumor. So this is where plans should be, or this is what you got to watch. The fingers to open up, the body to go straight, the reduction in the seizures come very rapidly when you do the body work. When she looks at me, facing me, it's her left hand which is paralyzed.
Yes.
So you should not touch anything on the left hemisphere of the brain. None of your coils in that hemisphere should be switched on. You have to remove any activity of the core from that side if you want to see performance.
Okay.
Because it's the left side, so it's on the right side of the brain which is operating it. So when you do this, you have to make your helmet functionable, that you can remove coils, not just because it's not connected. These coils, once they're set up, they operate. When you make these systems that you've done, is absolutely gorgeous. I saw my own work over 15 years. But I put this helmet on the children who could not talk, could not walk, and I've seen them changing their lives. It's what you've done. But please understand to remove the coils on the same side as there is paralysis from your reactor, from your helmet. And make sure there is only, you see, the arm and the hand is involved. You only need the reactors which are near the ear and they go to the center of the head. The front and the back has to be removed. You don't need cores in that area. Because when you do this, yes, please. If you can bring the helmet up, we teach, we can go. It's beautiful what you've done. So let's just not show it. Let's show how it's used and what is the benefit of it. If you have this picture as it is there, I'll go online, I'll show you what it is. You see, if I stand, the paralysis is, I'm looking at the paralysis to be on this side. So the only unit you need to work with is these units. You see, it's the hand which is twisted. I'll draw here. In the brain hemisphere, half hemisphere, your hand comes on the top and it goes down here to your fingers. You see a lot of deformity with the finger. So this coil, I'm going to change color that you can see it. It's beautiful what you've done. It brings so much pleasure. You need this core to be filled up. You need this core to be filled up. You don't need any others. This has to be at half power, and this you don't need at all. You discharge these. There should be no cores in this to start with. What you do, you allow the neurosystem in the part of the brain which is to do with hand and arm, which is this section of the brain, to come into operation. Very, very little. The only thing you can do is to put this one here. I've done this and it works very nicely. Let me get the number. This number 4 here, you see the green?
Yes.
You put a coil in this one, which you create a flow and you start repairing the brain. You need the opposite phase that the flow can go through. Empty the other cores. Do not use cores in any of them, because the brain in this part at this moment is to change the hand.
Mr. Cash, should we empty it, or is it also possible just not to connect them?
No. Your cores are active now.
Yeah, okay.
Once you nano-coated the system, you are active.
Yeah.
You can't just leave it. You just make your system in a way that you can take a cup, put the cup back in, and I wish I was in Valletta. I would have opened some of my helmets. You would have seen it. It's very similar to this, but internally embedded. Then, only thing, look for the problem. The problem is the spine. If you put a full picture of her, is the spinal cord because of the pressure on the brain. So what you need to do, see if you can open these first.
Okay.
You got to see if the hand opens up. That's the target. There is a possibility the seizures are irrelevant. The seizures she has is epileptic seizures, is because so much information is created, but the tumor sits on it, and those information gets released in one batch. So the body stops sending information. Once you reduce the size of the tumor, the seizure stops. And you can see the size reduction. You can do 2 choices. You can run these 2, 1 and 2, with 4 for about, let's say, a week, 2 weeks, to see if you get the hand moving. If the hand does not move, then you put where is the exact position of the tumor, you have to find out, and you create a flow which is draining it. So what does the draining means is you take from it. You only connect your gravitational rings, not your magnetical rings.
Okay.
On either side, you only connect. So what it means, you take energy away from the cell which you don't want. The brain decides everything else is okay. Where there is a slight difference, which is a tumor, literally you empty it out. The only way you can empty a tumor is when you put 2 facing gravitational rings in operation. Gravitation means taking. So when you take energy from the cells of the tumor, and then you end up with a tumor which is it gets dissolved in the brain, in the liquid of the structure of what it is, and then you're going to be left with the center. Then the center, we change the composition of the GANs on the coils. Because, no, it's okay, we just leave it as it is. So, just because you made the unit does not mean you need to use the body unit. The deformity on the body is all to do with the structure of the pressure of the tumor on the brain. With this case, you do not need the body unit.
Okay.
At all. Do not touch the body unit, because this is not what you're looking for. Carry on.
Mr. Kesh, I have a question. Vivek here from Singapore. The coil that you marked with the small X next to number 1, you said put half.
Yes.
You said put a half the strength on that. How do you put the half the strength on that?
Yes. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to answer the phone. Can you repeat again, please?
Okay, sir. There's a coil next to number 1 where you have marked with a small x. You said use half strength on that. How do you put half strength on that?
You should build the system with your plasma systems, with your batteries. In my systems, I use different size magnets of different strength. You can't do this. Here with the plasma, you create batteries. When you make your plasma batteries, the number of turns decides the power in most of the cases. You test your batteries, see how it's double, how it's single, or use 4 batteries for the left and 2 batteries for the right.
Okay, so it actually comes in terms of how the battery itself is connected, number of turns, and how many batteries are connected in parallel to each other.
Controlling. Yes, there are different ways of controlling the power.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So you use, let's say, 2 for the 1 and 2, and on the 4 you just use 1 battery. So, but it has to be the same kind of batteries you made in the same batch, which the 4 being stronger on a plasmatic condition is trying to feed the weaker one, which is 4. You create a transfer flow of the plasma. So you can do it 2 ways. You can go for leaving all the helmets all open, but you have to see where the tumor is, target the tumor. For the hand, you need to use those 3, because even when the tumor goes, that part of the brain is damaged. You have to rebuild the cells. This is very important. You got to see this, the versatility you have is bring the MRI up. Let's have a look at the MRI of the tumor. Then you decide which one affects it. You make a decision. You're going to reduce the tumor, or you're going to do the building of the arm after tumor, or you do it before. Once you start activating the arm, the tumor gets activated itself to answer. Different ways of literally setting this thing up, but where the arm is like a stroke, this is what you need to create. The twist in the body and the brain, what do you call it, the posture, this automatically the body will go back up. Do not use at this moment your body unit. You don't need it. This is what I always explain. Find the source of the problem, not clean up the side effects or the what do you call it, what you see, the end product. Here, all that is to do with the tumor in the brain, but at the same time, there are 2 ways. You can activate the arm, and that activation will force the reduction in the tumor, or you do it the other way. You look at the tumor itself, where it is, and you decide which one of the 12 cores you want to activate, or 10 you have. You have to target. It's not just how you build the helmet, I'm going to run everything. You understand? There is a way you can use this helmet in a specific way. You have to reposition at 1 core in a specific place, and within minutes you can bring anybody out of coma. This helmet, the way you've done it, in a specific condition, used, you can wake anybody out of coma. People who've been 10 years in coma, give me this system, within 24 hours I'll give you a live person. But you got to know what you're doing. So just because you built it and they got holes in it, doesn't mean you got to use it. You understand? So because you are there, you're doing it. You see, when you put it on your head now, is no problem, because there is no problem in your head. All the energies transfer. If it's needed, they take. You understand?
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with tumors, when you're dealing with cancer, when you're dealing with epilepsy, understand the reason. Spend an hour or 2, study the case, in reality what it is, not what you want it to be, because you made the system, you got to use it. Decide which configuration you're using, understand the connection between the different part of the body, why it's there, which section is there, Very easy. Go on the internet, find out the shape. This is the tumor here. Which elements of the physicality is connected to this part? What does it touch? You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
And then take a next step, because this is a very big bad habit, is that I built it, I have to use it. Now you built it, it's absolutely beautiful what you've done. No shadow. It's the same as the one we've seen with Renan. But now you have to become selective. Which cup you're going to leave inside, which cup you're going to take out.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to use a gravitational ring, or you're going to use magnetical ring. If you're going to bring stability. Pardon?
Magnetical is always the giving, and the gravitational the taking part.
Yes. But for the brain, majority of the time, you need gravitational. If it's a tumor, you have to take away. If it's epilepsy is, as I explained before, when you see a body shaking and the convulsion and the rest, this is nothing to do with what goes on. This is the problem in the world of medicine. We look at what is the end products, and we produce medicine for it. But in fact, epilepsy is nothing but a switching and switching off, as I explained many times. The brain, there is a pressure on it. Arm, legs wants to move. The information doesn't go to the arm and leg, which is supposed to move. As you see, it's twisted. So that information is released in mass. What it is, let me explain to you how exactly this case is. The tumor is sitting on the brain. We'll find out where it is. Most probably it's putting pressure on the hand and arm. The arm and the fingers are trying to get rid of this pressure. This in what is there, the pain. So it's producing a lot of information to send to the different organs of the body to create sedatives, or send it to the right place that the pain is not there. But because of the way a man sitting on a child, the tumor sitting on the brain, the information is produced. It finds a shortcut, it goes to a specific point of the brain, and as the brain wants to release the information, whatever it was to do in the arm is not going anywhere. The brain has a capacity of, as I always say, like 1 megabyte of information per second to go through it, but 3 megabytes comes. So when it comes to 1 megabyte, 0.1, the switch comes on. So the information is gone, but information from the brain is taxi destinated. It means it goes to the specific point. When you get a needle in your foot, you don't shake your hand, because the information goes that is the foot where it is. But when the information released in this condition at 1 megabyte, it has no characteristics, so it goes anywhere it can go. So what it is, information comes off moving your foot from the nail and not moving your hand. Information has no base, everything moves. Then you see the the stupid shaking of the body. Yeah. And then it opens for the second time, it releases another 1 megabyte. So now you see another shake of the body. It opens for the third time to release the last 3 megabytes. And then when there is no more information, the shake is called, we call it epilepsy. So the cause of the shake is the tumor which is sitting on the hand, on the arms. So the source of the information, producing information that leads to epilepsy, sits in that seat of the tumor, and is for the arm. Arm is in a lot of pain, but body is creating sedative for it. You don't feel it. It has nowhere to go. It releases it. You see that the epilepsy. It takes sometimes 2 days to build up to 3 megabytes to release. Then you see it, and you say the woman has epileptic attack every 3 days, every few days. Whenever it reaches a point, it releases it, so it goes. So go to the essence of the problem, not just to make a machine to put them in. Can we see the MRI of this, please? You must have an MRI if there is a tumor.
Yes, you can see, but I didn't prepare it.
So you can't start nothing with the lady. You have no authority to do. You have no rights.
What did you mean?
You cannot touch the lady if you do not know how the tumor has to be handled. If you get the MRI, bring it up. Don't use it till we see it. That is correctly done. Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then together we all learn.
Okay.
Okay.
Sandra just told me we got this MRI.
Put
So
it on
we
the
can
screen. Let's have a look. Yes, we
No,
all learning.
we don't have it scanned in. Hast du es elektronisch? Kannst du mal senden?
If it's on a disk, we should be able to see it.
Yeah. It takes just a minute.
No problem. We have all the time. You've done such a beautiful
Okay.
job. We wait.
Take a picture. Warte mal.
Okay.
Mr. Kescher, I have to inform you, yes, Rainer, I have to inform you that Klaus is part of our team now. He was fetted and he is part of our team now, of our teachers team.
Thank you very much. We need brilliant man of science. This is a new science. The one who understands it, they can teach it. But we have to teach correctly. It has to be done. I've seen a couple are making pens in Holland, and they are not selling it on the name of Keshe Foundation, but they're using our concept, our technology. They use every banners of the Keshe Foundation. They give a lot of talk about me, but couple, whoever you are, I thank you for teaching, but the pens you're making are not correct, and you cannot sell products on the internet if you have not certified yourself. You can cause yourself problem. A lot of you have started making these pens and you put it on the net that other people can buy it. We sell it, we have certified it. It took us, I think it cost us about 12,000 euro to do the trial certification, and then we had paid thousands more to get it done correctly. So it costs money just because you're making a pen and you go and sell it. Anything you sell, please try to get it certified, because I've seen fake, powders put in a bag and sold as a Gans powder. Is good for your brain and the others. You're causing a lot of problem for yourself, not us. What we call cowboys. Have you managed to get the picture?
Just a moment. We make a picture with our mobile phone and try to put it in.
Yeah, no problem. Go back on your stand. You showed us a beautiful stand. Can we look at your stand till you get the video ready? Yeah. The stand you made behind you is done perfectly. When you stand inside it, you have to decide which organ it is. If it's again cancer, if it's energy to give, if you are giving from magnetical or you're taking from gravitational. You understand? So, yeah. Because you made the coils, I said that to Renan as well. Make a connection for coil, each coil, magnetical separate, gravitational separate. Okay. Even though inside your coil, there is a double coil, it's gravitational magnetical. But when you put it as a transportation across, that plasma inside counts. So it's a bit dark. You have to move your camera to the right a little bit because it's very dark. We don't see anything.
Geht's heller?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's beautiful. Okay. So try to this. What are you going to do with this? Do you have somebody who knows how to use it?
It's just us.
I give you an offer. I don't think you can refuse. Make me another one. Separate it. I'll pay you for it, or you can donate it to the foundation. And we give you the address of the hospital where we are opening the Keshe Foundation Institute Hospital. Okay. And we put it in a very good use. I don't have time to build these things anymore. It's just, I don't make systems anymore. But if you can make one which you can control every coil, connect. Okay. It's not a control, you connect. You can connect batteries together. It's just a panel. You just pin them in. Everything has to be nano-coated. We can test this here in the hospital, which we're going to announce hopefully to be opened up in collaboration with government. That people just come in. It costs nothing, but they walk away with no cancer. They walk away with no, fibromyalgia. They walk away with no Alzheimer's. You've done a beautiful job. This looks very, like 1960s and 50s with electronics which came out. What you see that done now is absolutely gorgeous.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Cash.
It's absolutely gorgeous what you have achieved. And in such a short time. It's such a beautiful technology and knowledge.
Mr. Cash, we managed to get it on a mobile phone now. I will switch a camera.
Okay, please.
So, can you see this?
Where is the tumor?
So, wait a bit. So, Sonia, where's the tumor? The white one.
Yeah, but which side is the left and which side is the right?
Which side, Sonia? Which side is the left side? Oh, sorry.
Which side fits into the brain?
This is the right side, and this is the left side.
So if you put her is the side where we see, you see exactly what I told you on the machine?
Yeah.
Where that white patch is where the connection of the arm and the fingers are. So we are precisely right. If you bring the picture of the helmet and you see what I told you, it's in that point. So what you need to do, you can do two things. You can, you don't need the right side system. You have not to put anything in it because the tumor has nothing to do with the right side.
Okay.
You have to create a gravitational on the same two system you have. You know the number 1 and 2, and you need. Let's see what we can do with this.
Shall I just bring the picture of the helmet?
Bring the picture of the helmet, because this can be done totally different way. Bring the helmet next to it, or bring the helmet up. Okay, just let's see, can we take the helmet to the side? You see, now when you see the position of the helmet and the tumor, you don't want to transfer energy across to the other side.
Okay.
What you can do is you got to.
I can bring in the picture.
You can bring the picture on top of it if you can.
Yeah. Okay. Just a moment, please.
If it's transparent, we can do it.
So,
what is need to be done is not to cross the energy of the tumor across the brain. With the arm, you can do it when it's there because it takes a fingerprint across of the energy.
Yeah, I got it. So, just a moment. Print. Share screen.
Well, it's got to be the other way around now. You got to rotate it. The tumor moved.
Okay, I will rotate it soon. Just a moment.
Can you ask the lady is with you? Yes.
No, she's not with us now.
When did this started?
Wann hat das begonnen? 2005.
Was she heavy user of mobile phone?
Hat sie viel telefoniert? Not much, says her mother. Sonja, komm mal kurz.
Did she get hit on the head? Was she had a fall?
Hat sie mal am Kopf einen Unfall gehabt, oder? No, she did not. Is this the right side? Das ist rechts und das ist auch rechts.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, but Mr. Cash, the helmet, as you can see, is the back end at the bottom. So the right, it's like if you would have it on your head. And your nose and your eyes are in front of you.
No, which way is she facing? Me, or if the
No.
way the skull is there, she's looking away to the top. Yeah.
So ist es, wie es wirklich ist. So these two pictures are right positioned now. They fit together.
Okay, no problem. So now we see. You see the helmet is the other way. This okay.
Yes. Yes.
Now we
Before
see
it was
this
the other way around.
the other way around. Okay. Now what you need to do. That's why I said you want to do a thing. You got to do it. Okay. Now we have this brain tumor here, and this is the matching area you have to handle.
Yes.
But there is a lot of indication in this tumor where the problem is, how it is. This looks very much like a mobile phone tumor. We see a lot of this. Could you ask what was she using? Is it the same telephone number? Don't mention the name, but is it a Korean-made telephone?
Weißt du noch das Telefon, das sie
Or is
benutzt
it made
hat?
a phone made in Sweden? Or is it made in...
Well, we don't know, but we can find out.
Yeah, find out, because we're running a case like this already with
Okay.
another condition. It's not malignant, it's not cancer, they don't see it. This could be possibly due to the... When was the first sign of this condition?
Wann war das erste Anzeichen? Ja, 2005.
You don't want anything in these coils. That's for sure.
Yes.
You see this here. If I change, this is where the hands and arm goes in the brain. So that's why we see the problems with the hands and fingers. This is somewhere around the ear, this area.
Okay.
It sits very on the top. It sits very
Yes, this is right, yes.
Yeah. It sits very much on the top because you can see the cuts in the grove.
In the motoric part.
The motoric part. Yeah, that's not a problem. It's a physical part. When we get a stroke, the energy of the heart comes up here and it damages these. That's why we see paralysis. So we understand this. So what you got to do is, I can't do this in your hand. So what we need to do is to reduce this. You have this one here, which is sitting on top of it. Yeah?
Yes.
You have this one in its depth sits on the side of it here.
Yes.
You have this one, which is on this angle here. And this you don't need. You have to empty this one. This has to be emptied totally. This has to be emptied.
Wait, this one. Okay, yes.
Yeah. Number 4 and 5, you have to take your thing out.
Empty.
All this you have to take empty.
Yeah.
So now we got to play with this. The play with this is we can do it two-way. The tumor is on the surface on the top. Okay. We have two choices.
Yeah.
We can create gravitational here to suck into it, and we can do a gravitational here to suck it up. And this seems to be the best. Then we don't allow the tumor to spread anywhere. We literally deplete it. Okay?
Okay.
So you put a gravitational ring on this. You still hold your magnetical, but you connect your gravitational to the system. When we say you don't use gravitational, you only use the magnetical, in these units you keep the double core and the double core on top of each other. You don't take it out. You just connect into your gravity as it goes in, or you connect to gravity as it comes out. So you let it come out. Or you connect your magnetical out to a sink.
Okay.
So if you connect in this your magnetical into the sink, so you're sucking out. So it forces the fields to come in and come up. So you bury the energy in your sink.
Yeah.
Okay? So you got to connect, let's say 2 batteries here and 2 batteries here, and connect 1 battery here. I'm going to do it in fingers that you can see.
Yes,
Here you connect
I can
2
see it.
batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Here you connect 1 battery.
Yeah.
In this one, you connect to the magnetical. Yeah.
Okay.
And here you connect to the gravitational.
Okay.
If you connect to the gravitational, it has to go through the thing. It goes through the magnetical, comes through the gravitation of this, and it goes in the sink. You get rid of the energy in the sink. So what you're doing, you have a K2 here, which are connected to the magnetical, and you have 1 which is connected the magnetical to the sink. You connect your batteries to gravitationals. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah, understood.
And then the field will flow this way. It goes through the tumor.
Mm-hmm.
It goes through the tumor, and because of the smallest sink here, it has only 1 way to go, because it goes to the sink.
Yeah.
And then you take energy away from it. This is one of the ways to do it. The other way, if you didn't have the coils, you do the way I do. I literally take pieces and pieces of this. You have to confine and not move the tumor.
Okay.
One of the first things you see is the lack of epileptic attacks. Because the pressure will go off the nerve of the, the arm and fingers here. And as the pressure goes, normal information goes through the arm. The hand opens, the arm opens. This, what we see here in this part, it shows the deformity in the spinal cord. This side here goes with the arms, because down here is your upper arm going down inside, and this is your spinal cord, because your leg comes through the same, through your spinal cord, the other part of the body comes through the spinal cord. And this pressure on this side is causing the problem on the spinal cord. That's why you see the twist in the body. The problem with this is if she gets it, because the brain, as it reduces the weight from it, the brain is growing up, is blowing it back up to its normal shape, you're going to have some headaches, or you could have a muscle ache. If you get a headache and muscle ache, this shows a good sign. But don't use anything else. You don't need a body unit, you don't need anything. Try this procedure I told you. We have looked at it in 2 weeks' time. You see, if she changes in position, in posture, or in the epileptic attack,
okay,
and get it sorted out. But take everything out, and she doesn't need your upright unit.
Okay, just the helmet.
Just the helmet, those 3 for the time being. You have to play with it till you get it right. These cannot do any damage, because it's just a full of plasma. If you don't need it, you don't take it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Plasma just brings it out. There is another way you can do it, is deciding yourself. You have to decide. Please ask a doctor to supervise with you. Don't do this on your own. You need a medical doctor who is part of the Keshe Foundation. I have a doctor who can supervise you directly from Middle East, one of the well-known doctors. I can bring him in to support you, to explain.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Okay, or we have doctors in Keshe Foundation Europe, in Germany. We have a couple of good doctors, and we have a very nice doctor in Belgium who's well trained to handle these machines. So you can ask them to supervise. Don't touch it till you have a full supervision, because they give you a lot of tips, but they understand the technology can do it. And then what you got to do, you design the procedure is that you connect this to the magnetical, and you connect this to magnetical too. Yeah, you put 3 magnetical in the sink. So what happened there, as you sinking it, or you connect the energy to go somewhere else, the energy has to come from the tumor, and they drain the tumor. This is one of the safest way of doing it as well. You don't create a flow to go anywhere, you just drain it. This process takes a little bit longer, but it's very effective. I've done it before.
Mr. Keshe, there's several people have questions about this use of the saltwater pool, I guess it's called, as a sink. Can you explain a bit about that?
Wernie, are you there? Wernie. He's usually around. Can you see him to promote him? Wernie. Are you there? Renan, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
In the chat here. I see Bernie's in the chat. I'm not sure if he's responding right now.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Renan. Is
Mr.
Wernie
Yes.
about? Is Wernie about that? He can explain to us about the sink.
He just went a while for he bought something for an errand, and he'll be coming back right away.
Okay, when he comes, we'll explain it to you, because Wernie understands this very well, and he can explain to you. Okay, so thank you very much for this. Carry on showing, carry on explaining to us. You made a beautiful system, but if we go back, if we show your stand all together, don't do anything till you have a doctor on board with you. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Can we look at your stand, please? You see the stand is the same. If you are, let's say you are sorting out the kidney problem, you don't need the top two layers. You position the middle of the 5 on the left-hand side in a position that what you want to do. You don't connect everything. You have to get out of this habit of, I made it, I have to use it.
Wieder rüber. Das wieder rüber. Ist zu dunkel.
But more to the right. There we see it. Perfect.
Yeah, okay.
So you have to start educating yourself how to use these systems. You target it. If it's the lung, you use the top 4 to the line of the diaphragm. And then you have to decide if it's a cancer or you're just giving it the energy. If it's the energy, it has to be balanced between all 4. If you're connecting, let's say, the top 2 cores here, let's use I don't have it right here. I cannot touch it. Do you see it? No.
It's because it's a video, probably. You can't annotate it.
I can take a picture for annotation.
Right.
If you look at the top 2, the top 2 trays, which is 4 cores on the left and the 4 cores on the right, have to be connected exactly to the same power supply according to the ratio. So if you're connecting each coil on the left to 2, you connect the one on the right to 1, which you create a gradient of the flow of the energy. That it goes through the body, is information carrier, it goes. Then you have to decide if you're connecting both to the magnetical or gravitational. Are you emptying or are you adding? So just you made it. It's just the beginning of the use, how to use it. And as I said, just because you made it doesn't have to be used. You use it in parts according to what is needed. If you are doing an arm and a leg, you don't need any of the top.
Yes.
Yes, sorry about that. Rick, Benjamin is in the background from Ghana. When they finish with this, they have corrected all their data. They want to come back in. And I've been told the voice of the Atomic Energy Authority of the Ghana could be online with us after this.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So yeah, our presentation just finished. Yes, we would like to build a unit for you and to improve it.
Yes, that's fantastic. You bring it to one of the most advanced hospitals in the space technology. We're setting it up. I'm sure we will see different versions of this when we go to China with the Chinese group. We bring it in. We try to have a live sessions in China whenever we are in public sessions. And I'm sure we'll see these used there because they're reporting different kind of things in respect to tumors. This is a marvelous team you made. Thank you to your team. This is
Thanks a lot.
This is beautiful. Try to get yourself a medical doctor in Germany, 1 or 2 of them. We know we can ask them, but it depends where you are in Austria. I don't know any doctors in Austria who are there. If you're a doctor in Austria, you want to join us to test, we can help you. Ask Kevin Davina. Maybe he has somebody in that area because he's in Austria with you. And we'll see what we can do.
We already asked one, and he will visit us in the next days. So maybe we already got one, but he has to see it for himself and has to decide.
The science, yeah, explains knowledge to them and how it's done. Try to separate each coil, each ring,
Yeah.
In a different panel. Just put a panel, you can plug it in. Yeah. Exactly. And then you can choose how to connect. What is not needed for kidney, you don't need to touch the lung and the heart. You just dismiss the two top trays. You just don't connect it. Or you remove the panel altogether, that you concentrate only on the liver. Try to make your panels detachable. You just take it out and put it back in, and you can connect it.
Okay.
It's fantastic. This is one of the. I have a lot of chairs and things like this, but it's nice to see it in this way. It's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay. Mr. Kesh, there is one last question of our group, because we made a professional video out of it, also out of the production, and cameraman and cutter asked if it would be possible that you could say in 1 or 2 sentences how the body part of the device works, and if it's okay that we can use this in our video.
Go on the Zoom. We do it properly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
When you've done
Thanks
it,
a lot.
organize the Zoom. You ask to Paul. He'll organize it. We do a what do you call it, Zoom conference. And
Okay.
we go through the step by step that we fit it in there. You don't need to adjust it.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. Congratulations to you.
Thanks. I give it to my group. Thanks a lot.
Hopefully we have everyone from every culture will go through this very soon, what the one you make for the foundation.
Yeah. Okay.
There we are.
Some of us are here, and also the dogs.
The dogs are there too.
We thank you for your information, and we'll build a.
You have entered a world of science which needs people of the science of health that can help you. And it's beautiful what you've done.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you indeed.
And
Thank you for you doing it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Rick, can we go to Ghana, please?
Yeah, there was one question about the coils on the helmet. I don't know if it's too late there, but regarding the wires in it, were they copper or zinc wires? There's some confusion in the...
No, these are all copper wires.
Okay. Nano-coated copper wires. And
it's a standard coil.
It's covered with CO2 GaNs and zinc GaNs, I take it.
Then we come, that's what they've done. But when we come to it, and you understand, even the coating matters how you do it. But we're coming to the point, as was explained by you, but you couldn't express it, that when you stand in these machines, your desire to release yourself of the pain of the kidney will trigger only the core which is going for the kidney. This I'll teach you in the coming time. We saw the gentleman today when he was desiring to have the banana, and how he was feeling the taste of it. In the coming time, you come to the same point. Your desire for the kidney to receive the energy, only the kidney. You decide left or right. Is the emotion which will trigger the system. But at the moment, we have to gradually graduate to this level of understanding. You don't need coating. You just need to create the emotion that this is where the pain is. The body knows, the system knows, and in flow it will change itself. But we'll come to it later.
Right. Thank you. Okay. We can move on then to...
Anna, please.
So Benjamin, are you, I'll unmute you there. Do you want to go ahead?
Yes,
please. Okay, good morning, everyone. And,
good morning, Benjamin. From humanity to you in Africa.
Well, thank you all. Apparently, Dr. Nana and Professor Shilo have an emergency meeting, so they have all left immediately when we came around. But Dr. Nana was around, so she had to
Sorry
leave
about
for
this.
this emergency meeting. Please, can you hear me?
Yes. Would you like
Okay.
to share with us your screen?
Okay. So we are willing to share with you our corrected results. So where is this? Okay, PowerPoint. Okay, this. Please, can you see?
Yes, we can see the screen there.
Okay, so that's I will try to share some things, some new things that I have found also, and then Nash is around. He will also come in with the corrected results. Apparently, like Mr. Kesh said, the one who entered the results made a lot of mistakes, so a lot of things have been corrected. Okay, so today this is what I have to share with you. That water is life, and that the price man pay for the wrong use of atomic energy is very costly. However, using it properly, we can transform ugly situations into pleasant, ones. Okay, so we start by showing you how water actually we receive water from nature or the mother creator. So as you can see from rain comes down from the clouds and then it returns back to us again in the form of a cyclic order. So evaporation from the vegetation and evaporation from the sea and end up in the clouds forming in the sky forming clouds, and then they return to us in the form of snow or in the form of rainfall. Okay, and water, as we know, is a universal solvent, and our body is made up of about 70 to 80% of water, and it's a very important chemical compound. Some of the characteristics that one can noticeably found with water is it is tasteless, colorless, odorless when it is, not contaminated. These are some of the things that you will, actually find. And it has a boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius or 212 Fahrenheit. It freezes at 0 or 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and it has a molecular weight of 18. That means two parts of what do you call it? The hydrogen is 1, and then two parts of oxygen, which is the atomic weight is 8, almost getting to a 7.99 something. So you are getting a, so the molecular weight comes to 18. Okay, and this are the essential ingredients in man. That is why we can confidently say that man has about 80 to 90% of water in his body because of these ingredients, which Mr. Kesh normally say Mr. Cohen. That is amino acid, the structure of the amino acid. We have 65% of oxygen and then 9.5% of hydrogen. So you can see that the combination here, you can get a lot of water from the human, body. Okay, let's descend further down. So, you can see what is actually happening in Ghana. And these are some of the news headlines I gathered. If you go online, you can find some of these things. Illegal mining destroyed river Boinzon and Bia. Galamsey induced water shortage hit about 50 communities. Ampra contains cancer-causing chemicals. Okay, that is Ghana Water Company is attesting to that. And Galamsey plunges Ghana into water crisis. That you can see, that is recent, 19th of February. That's a recent news that was on the website. Okay, This is one of the key members or key people in the Ghana Water and Sewage Corporation, and he's telling us that fluoride content in water which was supposed to be 1.5 for human consumption, which I even find it too high because fluoride is not good for us. If you read a book by Dr. Jerry Tennant, you can find out the health implication about fluoride in water. And it's a good book. I actually have read this whole book. Voltage is Healing. If you can get to Amazon, you pick a copy for yourself, and then you see what Jerry Tennant, has discovered about fluoride. This consumption in fluoride has written they have to raise the standard to 2.3, and this is unacceptable and is dangerous for human as far as dental health is even concerned. Okay, he said that the increment in fluoride content of water cannot be treated once found. Once it has found its way in water, making the situation more dangerous. According to Mr. Pintel, another mineral found in the water which was equally dangerous was mercury. Okay, so there's a high content of mercury, and as I share further, you can see that you cannot treat it the normal way that water is being treated currently. So our technology offers a possible solution to all this because of the gravitational and the magnetic field, which is incorporated in the GANs, which eventually can pull this thing down as sediment. He currently also said that the company spent more than estimated amount of money to treat water because at times the pollution becomes so high that it has to pump away all the 3,000 gallons of treated water from that is after testing. They do the quality control analysis, and it is normally found out that this water is not cannot be consumed, so they have to pump it away because they don't know how to deal with the situation. Okay, and that is another what do you call it? He said the situation. This is a pumping station in where the Brim River is. They said the situation has caused Ghana company to shut down the water treatment plant that treat water at Brim River for the residents. So it's a huge problem here. Okay, and what is the cause of water? Then how do we, water is life. So how do we get clean water? Because it's costs so much to treat water than to get it in this pure, state. Currently, that is the mode of treating water in the cycle that water that is clean, comes out. It has to go through this three major process, which is further divided into 5 processes. That is the pre-treatment, filtration, and post-treatment processes. Okay. First of all, the water have to be disinfected, and secondly, coagulation and flocculation treatment process, and sedimentation process, filtration process, and then corrosion control process. So as you pump this water along the tubes, they are not, they don't end up corroding the pipelines. Okay, so this is a pictorial view of what it looked like in Ghana before I left, to Europe. Water is pumped from the river, and then at the initial stage they boil it. They boil it to kill or to treat the germs first, and then afterwards they add alum for coagulation, and then they go through the process of changing the taste or to control the odor through carbon, and then you get to disinfect it by adding chlorine to it. And chlorine, as I continue, you see that it has even what do you call it, a very negative implication on our health, And then the next stage is the water undergoes a filtration process. and then the sediments have to sink down, and then it is pumped. And then again, we add another chlorine to it again. That means we have added chlorine in 2 stages, making the water somehow clean and pleasant to drink, but the health implication is very costly. Okay, then this is the post-treatment stage. The last stage is the post-treatment stage. You add another sodium chloride, to sort of avoid corrosion in the pipelines, and then you get your clean water out. I know this system, is common to most water treatment plants across the globe. Okay, so let's see what chlorine has chlorine, the negative impact of chlorine in water treatment. This is what I got from H2O water distributors side. Okay, so I haven't changed anything and I didn't write anything, but I know the implication. They are just echoing what we have found out. Okay, chlorine has an extreme drying effect, not only on the hair but on the skin. As the skin becomes drier, it also ages more quickly. So just as you can add chlorine to filter your water, you can also add a filtration system to your entire home system. That is, if you want to avoid the negative impact of the chlorinated water. What many people may not realize is that chlorine has a definite aging effect on the skin. So when you use so much chlorine, your skin tend to age, faster. What those same people may not also know is that chlorine was chosen as a primary disinfectant for our water supply for its safety, but it costs. Okay, but that cost has not factored in health risk which comes from drinking chlorinated water. The risk of developing cancer, for example, is more than 90% higher than those regularly drink chlorinated water than those who do not. Okay, this is by Michael Sorai. You can get this article also from Enzyme. Okay, and these are a lot of from different people. This is a medical doctor, J.M. Price. Chlorine is the greatest crippler and killer of all modern time. While it prevents epidemics of one disease, it is creating another. 2 decades ago, after the start of chlorinating our drinking water in 1904, the epidemic of heart trouble, cancer, and salinity began. Okay, that's a medical doctor speaking. And this is another from Air and Toxic Risk Assessment, that is 1991. Other studies have indicated that exposure to chlorine via inhalation may alter disease resistance in animals with higher incidence in emphysema, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. So that is the disease that you can also get. Let's listen to another doctor, Dr. Lance Wallace. Showering is suspected as a primary cause of elevated levels of chlorophyll in nearly every home because the chlorine in water, that is chlorophyll, also known as carcinogen, levels increase to about 100% during 10 minutes in your residential shower. So that is how you gradually actually poison yourself, because the skin area is actually the large part of the greater part of your intestine, or you can take in more fluid via your pores than drinking. So when you enter into water, the water gets into your pores faster, and you can easily poison yourself, or get another side effect. The next one is from a professor of water chemistry at the University of Pittsburgh, claims that the exposure to vaporized chemical in water supplies through showering, bathing, and inhalation is greater than through drinking. So you see why? Because the skin area has a lot of pores, and you can easily get this chemical into your bloodstream faster than you taking it. Now, let's look at our treatment method. When you look at the diagrams that I showed earlier, you see that it undergoes a lot of processes. But using the GANs, you don't need all these systems. You don't need all the systems that are associated. You may only need about 2 or 3, only 2. Maybe let's say the water is pumped, you get your, GANs in the water, and then the sediments sink. While the sediment is sinking, you are also dealing with the mercury levels or the heavy metals, that is embedded or laced within the structure of the water down. And then the upper part, which has shown itself to be clean, can be used as drinking water. So the cost that is involved in buying high cost of machinery and so on can be dealt with. Not alone man hours and then the manpower involved, So using this technology, we can cut away this cost that most African countries or most developing countries, face. So, like here, I'm showing samples that I've submitted to the NNI lab, the National Nuclear Research Facility lab here to deal with. This is the treated water from Brim, and I know some of you have already seen it. And we started the process at this particular date, 15th of February at 14:38 p.m. and then we came to it the next day. The control still remained the same, but when you look at the one that has the copper oxide in it, you can see that it is more, what do you call it, clearer. And Nash is actually working on this results also simultaneously with the other ones that I have submitted. Actually, I've loaded him with so much work that, there are a lot of samples that they are analyzing for us, and we will show that also with time. He was supposed to come with the sediments, but yesterday there was a power outage, I think 2 days or so. 2 days there have been a power outage at the atomic site, so it has stalled, the process. Okay. And these are also the effect from adding ordinary nanowires to the wire. That was when we started, that is how it looked. And after 24 hours, the next day, the water is a little bit clearer, and it is more clearer now as it sits on their laboratories now. So we can in effect, further research or further, tuning of this method. We can cut costs and then save money for third world countries. Okay, so he's here. I have the corrected results. Nash is here. He will, go through with us again what he has corrected. So I have handed over to you.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Kesh and group. As we saw.
Are we online? Hello?
Right. As we went through the other time that we met, we found out that there were interchanges in some of the results of the parameters, especially with turbidity. With turbidity, we had the offin control, which is now being corrected, is 200, but after the treatment, it dropped to 32. Then with the Revapra, the control was 226. After the treatment, it dropped to 4, which is even below the the guideline values for drinking water according to WHO and Ghana Standard Authority levels. Then we came to the color. The color of fin control, we found it to be 220. After treatment, it dropped to 20. Then Rivapra, the control is 50. After treatment, it dropped to 1, which is very significant. And even with WHO, the apparent color, it should be 25. But after treatment, especially with Rivapra, it has dropped to 1, which is very significant and encouraging. The true color, as it follows with the apparent, the fin control 22, but the true after filtration for the true color came to 15. Then the treatment too after filtration, it dropped to 3. The same with Rivapra, the control after filtration was 50, but after the filtration it dropped to 5. Then the treated just 1 came to 0. And these are all, that is the treatment values are all below the drinking water level, which is very, very good. Then we also had a look at the nitrate values. The nitrate for fin control was 0.406, 0.318. Then with Rivapra, it was 53, which is extremely high, but it dropped to 0.002. That's after treatment, it dropped. The recommended levels according to WHO is 10 to 45. And then Ghana Standard Authority is 10. Then we also had a look at the phosphate levels. The phosphate of fin control was 0.683. After treatment, it dropped to 0.034. Then with Rivapra, the control was 2.066. After treatment, it dropped to 0.012. Sulfate was 2.51014. The fin after treatment, it came to 2.0089. Rivapra was 0.218. After treatment, it came to 0.14. So basically, these are the corrected results that we have. As Ben already said, we've also analyzed the sediment from the samples, and by next week we will come out with all the metals that we are possibly being analyzed for the sediment. So thank you very much.
Hello? Hello? Okay, so that is the, what do you call it, the final result, and it's very encouraging, you know. And as you see on the screen, this is something that we are, it is in the process now. We are, you know, we have started the process, and with time we will give you all the...
Benjamin,
Yes,
before
sir.
you go any further, go back to the report, please.
The report, okay.
Can you expand? Can you open it up? We can see the results, because last time we found discrepancies in typing. Person was typing it. Can you go up, please? Can you open it? Open it. Open the figures. We want to see the figures. We'll go back.
Okay.
We need to see the chart. Go, yeah, go down. Where is here? There is the report here. Open this report. Oh, can you open it, Rick? We can't see the figures.
Yeah, I can't do anything with it. It's a picture, and
It's a picture.
you need to show the actual report so that we can see the figures more correctly, or else try to if you can make this picture bigger in your program there. I think it's only at 65%. If you could make it 200%, maybe we can see the numbers better.
Okay, what I will do is I will, what do you call it? Send it to you now. Okay, let me close this and then I will do that.
Don't
But
open, we
again,
can see your program.
okay, I'm closing.
You work so hard because to analyze with Dr. being there with you in
You could actually just use the percentage slide on the bottom right corner.
Okay.
You can increase the size. It says something about 60%. You can make it bigger there.
Go back to the...
Right, that might work.
Go back to the screen again in what you had.
Somehow you might have to reshare your screen. It's,
okay.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Go on the
There's
slide.
a slider there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Okay, but it's still a bit blurred.
So it's gone. Okay.
Yeah, you have to keep it like
Okay,
this.
if you make your screen bigger, okay, well, yeah.
Open up your screen, you can't do.
I don't think you can do that any bigger.
Okay, what is, can we have with the Dr. Nash analysis on this data?
Dr. Nash, the correct.
Hello, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
can you tell us with now that we have the figures, can we understand what is the property of the water now after the processing and or after residue?
Yeah. After the processing, we take the pH compared to the guideline values for WHO and Ghana Standard Authority. It's the range. The guideline level is 6.5 to 8.5 for the WHO, and after treatment we are within 7.62 for River Pra. That's the treated. Then when we come to the conductivity, WHO level is 500 to 700, and we after treatment we are between, we have 268 for 0.5 for River Ofin, and then 178.
What does this mean? What does it change this in the quality of water conductivity?
Yeah, the conductivity, it's the amount of metals that are dissolved in the water, and some of these metals are health hazards. So
does it show metal content has reduced?
Yes, it has reduced considerably.
But what's the percentage of loss? It's nearly half, isn't it?
Nearly half, yes. Nearly half.
Okay, what about the next one?
The next one is the total dissolved solids, which is also, the guideline value is 1,000. But after treatment, we are below even the guideline value of 1,000. We are 134.65 for River Ofin and 88.9 for River Pra, which is very good and very, very encouraging.
So it dropped from 1,000, is it 1,079 or is it 179?
It's 134.65 for the River Ofin and then 88.9 for River Pra.
What was before? Because we don't see it clearly. Is it 1,100?
Yeah, it was. The guideline value is 1,000, but the control, that is the untreated, for River Pra is 179. But after treatment, it dropped to 134.65. Then for River Pra, the control was 1,164.45. Then after treatment, it dropped to 88.9. So from 1,000 down to 88.
What does this usually contain?
the dissolved solids, that's what we are analyzing the sediments now to find out actually what kind of or what type of metals are embedded in. So after the complete analysis of the sediment, now we'll be able to tell the dominant metals in the sediment. We will be able to know the iron content, the copper content, the zinc, the manganese, cadmium, lead, if there are some of these hazardous elements in, which is a health hazard, I must say. With suspended solids, the control, which is on treatment for offin, is 210. After treatment, it dropped to 35. Then the PRAC untreated is 230. After treatment, it dropped to 5, which is exactly the guideline value according to WHO and Ghana Standard Authority. For alkalinity, which states the basic or the alkaline nature of the soil, of the water sample, the offin control is 75. After treatment, it dropped to 45. Then the Rivapra, the treatment should be, the control or the untreated should be 105. After treatment, it dropped to 65. The control, the guideline values are...
I think your officer
200.
has mistarted back to front.
Yes, the alkalinity too also skipped. It's also interchanged, which we have noted. This the 75 should be in place of the 45, and then
And
the
105 the other way around. Okay.
or the other way around.
Okay. The next one is
Next one is turbidity. Turbidity, the untreated is 200. That is offin control is 200. After treatment, it dropped to 32. The pra control is 226. After treatment, it dropped to 4.
you explained to us last time what turbidity was the clarity of the water.
The clarity of the water. The clarity of the
When
water.
you pass a light through it, it must be able to be seen. Or when you put something behind the container which is holding the water, a transparent,
Yeah.
a transparent container.
Benjamin, we can't hear you.
Okay. When you the turbidity is, for example, when you have put it in a transparent bottle, when you hold a paper behind it, you should be able to see through the content of what you are holding, or you should be able to have a clear image without blur. So that is the dispersion rate of light is able to go through without becoming opaque. That is simply what turbidity actually means.
Okay, thank you very much. What's the salinity?
Salinity for offin control was 0.2 parts per trillion, that is PPT. But after treatment, it dropped to 0.1. That's about 50% down. Then the prior control came to, the untreated is 1.1. After treatment, it came to 0.1. That is, it tells how salty the water is when it is consumed.
Did you manage to get the unsalted GANs this time? You found the distilled water for it?
Yeah, I watched it this time.
No, don't shout. Come to the microphone.
Okay. Okay. What I got the ionized water from the NNR lab by the courtesy of Professor Dr. Shilo, who is interested in our work. So he told me to bring a big gallon, and they were able to offer me a lot, for my experiments.
Okay. Carry on, please.
So we now come to apparent color. That is the color of the water as it was submitted to the lab. Its obfin control was 220, but after treatment it dropped to 20. The accepted level is 25, so this is quite good. Then for pra control, it's 50. After treatment, it dropped to 1, making it very almost colorless, just like distilled water. Then the true color is after it has been filtered. The offin control was 220, but after filtration, it came to 15. Then the treated offin water, which was 20 for the apparent, after filtration, to get a true color, it dropped to 3. For pra, the control was 50 on treated. After filtration, it dropped to 5. Then the treated river pra came to 0 for the true color. The WHO level is even 5. So compared to the treatment was more effective than the control, than the guideline value for the true color. Then we came to nutrients and other chemical tests. And we start with fluoride. The fluoride for the offin control was 0.015, but after treatment it dropped to 0.011. That's about 0.004 difference. Then the pra control,
about 35% reduction.
About 35% exactly. Pra control that was 0.033. After treatment, it dropped to 0.001. Even the guideline value for fluoride is 1.1, also contributes to the salinity. Then for pra control, we have 596.81. After treatment, it dropped to 28.99. The guideline value is 250 to 1,000 according to WHO, and then 250 for Ghana Standard Authority. So we realized that the treatment was even below the guideline values. Then we come to sodium. Sodium for offin control was 17.9. After treatment, it dropped to 13.2. That's about 4.5 difference. Then pra control was 85.7. After treatment, it dropped to 16.8. And the guideline values is 200 for WHO and 200 also for Ghana Standard Authority. So here the treatment has also clearly shown how effective the treatment is. Then sodium for offin control was 2.5. After treatment, it dropped to 1.5. Then pra control was 6.5. After treatment, it also dropped to 1.0, which is far below the guideline value, which is 30 for WHO. Then for total hardness, we have 65 for offin control. After treatment, it dropped to 52. Pra control was 48, and after treatment, it's also, this should be, it dropped to, this should be 18, but they have made it 48, the same 48, should be 18 for total hardness. The guideline values are 500 for both WHO and Ghana Standard Authority. Then for nitrate, the offin control was 0.406. After treatment, it dropped to 0.318. Then for pra control, it was 53. And after treatment, it dropped to, this should be 0.53. 0.53 for prior control. After treatment, it dropped to 0.002. The guideline values for WHO is 10 to 45, and then Ghana Standard Authority is 10. Phosphate for offend control was 0.683. After treatment, it dropped to 0.034. Then for prior control, it was 2.066. After treatment, it dropped to 0.012. We don't have the guideline value for phosphate yet. WHO and Ghana Standard Board, the guideline values are not in yet. Then for sulfate, the offend control was 2.5101. After treatment, it dropped to 2.0089. Then for prior control, it was 0.218, but after treatment, it dropped to 0.014. The treatment levels, according to WHO and Ghana Standard Authority, were to be 250 to 500. So far, this is what we have.
As a scientist
Yeah.
who is qualified to give us a verdict, what does this result give us? There is a very strange characteristic that the often
Yep.
shows totally ratio than pra.
Yes.
Because the offering was treated with CO2 gas, and then the PRA was treated with copper oxide gas. So they are
copper
two
oxide shows a better performance than CO2.
So, yeah, sure.
But the CO2 costs nothing to produce, where copper oxide does.
Yeah.
Can we speak with Dr. Nash, please, Benjamin? Dr. Nash.
Yes, Mr. Kaish.
Yeah. We see a lot of reduction. Okay.
Yeah.
We see a lot of improvement in reduction of all sorts of things. But are these all beneficial to be withdrawn? Or can be selective and keep some? Water without nourishment is no good, but part of these things are nourishments for animals or whatever. Can we become selective? I mean, is this water okay for consumption? Most probably, but void of everything, more or less.
Yeah, we realize that with the copper oxide treatment, it's more effective than the carbon dioxide. And it's, even when you look at the guideline values for drinking water, you realize that some of the parameters, it's even lower than the guideline values, telling us that the treatment using copper oxide has been very effective. These guideline values came about when we haven't come across the treatment with copper oxide and carbon dioxide. I believe the guideline values are from what Ben earlier shown, the traditional way of water company here going through the processes of treating water. So based on that filtration or the treatment system, that's why they came out with these drinking values. And now that we have advanced forward with copper oxide treatment coming in, we realize that we can even go lower than the guideline values, which has been set for some years now. So
would your government consider to implement this?
Yes, and I'm sure they would, but they will call for further tests on a wider scale, and that will go through the processes, and the government will surely, because this is even cheaper compared to what we are spending treating our water for public consumption at the moment. So it's a big breakthrough if all hands on deck, relevant people are brought on board, and we show the government to give an ear to it.
Is it possible to get the couple of error on the page to be corrected? And
sure.
if we could have a written report, a scientific report of the evaluation of this result that we can share with number of governments, because this allows a huge difference in, because especially when I look at the salinity, the salinity with copper oxide, this allows the seawaters for countries like here in Dubai to be literally cleaned out. You can drink it, you can put it through and drink it. How long did it take? How long did you leave the two to stay? A day?
3 days.
3 days. Was it effective immediately, or after 3 days you got to this point? Would it be any different if it would have been just 1 day?
After putting it down, we started seeing changes after 1 hour. The water was clear. So Dr. Nana was even asking me, why is the other one, that's the copper oxide, going, clearer than, but I have already tested it in my room and then have found out that the copper oxide, gets clearer faster than the CO2. So I just told her,
Benjamin, what is important, we need to see now, we have a base data on each river. We have to see if the material which is collected must be in the what do you call it, in the residual which you are testing. We should find the correlation between the two. It's got correlates, otherwise we won't be, we will see where it's gone to. What will be interesting is, can you, once they've done the test, can you try to see if you can wash the copper oxide or the CO2 out of the residual, that we can reuse it?
Okay.
You understand? So does not matter what is as a residual. There are processes that can take the gold out, whatever. You haven't tested a lot of other things here. But would it be possible to wash the CO2, because we do the washing, Arman is good at it, that we can recycle the material. We don't need to use this to keep on producing it. You understand? Hello, Benjamin. Have we lost him? So see when he comes back, bring him back on, because he's got to explain to us the other part. What we see here is more or less in line we've seen with a couple of other reports. But now, with this report, we try to pass this on immediately to certain governments. We know they are working to clean the system up, the process. It is important that we make a proper report of this, and in time understand it more. I've seen these kind of work past 10 or 15 years. We were fully aware. It's the first time we receive a governmental report. And we'll start seeing these kind of reports across the world. A lot of governments, companies, organizations are doing it. I'm sure if we can get Benjamin in the background, we will take this with us to China. China has a lot of rivers which needs to be cleaned up. And this has a very little cost of drinking water changes. At this moment of time, I was in a seminar last Monday, not this Monday, the Monday before, official seminar by the United Arab Emirates regarding the water. The amount of water which is imported in United Arab Emirates is huge. Every drop of water is brought in, because desalination units, especially like companies which are very big in it, like Samsung, it costs a fortune to do it. This is an easy way out. It allows us to drink water from everything we like. in the rivers in time of disaster. People like a lot of you who carry copper oxide, now you can use it. But at the same time, if we add to the information that we learn for the future, if you test, we tested these with minerals, but if you do a germ test, microbe test, from the data we have, copper oxide comes totally clean. CO2 creates life. So in cleaning up, if you are taking the residual out, is good. But if you're going for a totally disinfected water that you can literally drink it, doesn't matter what kind of parasite was in it or microbes, you'll find out the copper oxide comes on the top. So we've seen the process, we understand the process, but copper oxide has shown in a number of trials to be a disinfectant. So in having this data, I think we will speak with Benjamin in the time. Is Benjamin back? I will discuss this with them in the background. You will see that copper oxide has a huge disinfection. It disinfects the water, kills all the germs. It doesn't kill, it literally takes them out into the sediment. They still survive. In the sediment, they do exist. In the above, they don't. And I don't recommend the CO2 water drinking, but the copper oxide, when you let it settle, has the property to be okay. No problem. No problem. So we know this. We hopefully, when we are in China, because the water contamination is huge in China, we know this as there are a number of lakes in what used to be USSR, the Russian, like in Kazakhstan. I'm aware of the huge lakes which have huge contaminations.
Sorry, Mr. Kesh, we are back.
Okay, thanks, you're back. Just wait 1 second, I'll explain something. If we expect with these disasters, like what happened in Fukushima, a huge amount of radioactive contamination of the water, copper oxide is literally your only guarantee to decontaminate from radioactive material. This is what we gave to TEPCO. TEPCO was shipped huge amount of copper oxide in different form as what was it called? Talcum powder lotion. We have the shipping documents for it. TEPCO didn't want it to be called CO2. It's called as talcum powder lotion. We have all the shipping documents. And now that the gentleman who was part of the TEPCO to decontaminate is the director of the Keshe Foundation in Japan. We met him last week. We're seeing the machine last Tuesday. Now we are in that process. So if you come across radioactive condition where we expect the number of radioactive reactors to go off, what we call the power stations, in a case of a disaster, copper oxide is the only solution which gives you sediment-free, germ-free, and radioactive-free. So bear this in mind. What we need to do is, we can do it. It's the beautiful position which Benjamin is in. Benjamin, you're back online. Is Dr. Nash with you? Hello, Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are with Dr. Nash. Listen, what we want you to do, you have proven that this water is cleaned out of the sediments, yeah? What I want you to ask your team in conjunction with the Atomic Energy Authority of Ghana, because you have the access facilities to it, to do 2 more further tests on the water from the rivers. One is test the water for germs and bacteria. Okay?
Biology.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are right.
okay, we need to test, okay, now we know the sediment. Forget about CO2. Or you want you carry CO2, carry CO2 too. But we want a test on both river, on one river. Take any of the two. Now we know the result, we go for the best, which is the copper oxide. Leave the CO2 out. When do another test and give us the result in respect to bacteria and germs or whatever is in the water before and after. Okay? In the video you showed us last week, the week before, you showed us people washing the animals, the blood of animals in the rivers and everything. So these rivers are fully contaminated. Yeah?
E. coli.
E. coli. So I want you to ask the authorities within the institute to, what do you call it, do a bacteria test, a full test, like this report for sediments, if we can have a bacteria test. And anything else which is there. The second thing, because you are part of the Atomic Energy Authority of Ghana, you're within the institute, ask them to do the same, which is, when you have radioactive material with you, if you can contaminate the water as it is with radioactive material, and then add the CO2 into it and report to us back on the cleaning of the water from radioactive material. This is very important. These are we need. If it can be done very rapidly by next week, because I know you're very slow, it's what do you call it, very difficult to get you moving fast. But even the waters you have now, you still have the two waters after cleanup and the normal. Test the same waters again for bacteria and germs, and do a simple test of adding radioactive material to the river and its copper oxide, and we would like to see the report in the residual or in the water. The result will come 100% in the direction of the cleanup of the radioactive material. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
And we know this because TEPCO has confirmed it. We know this because we shipped enough material into TEPCO. So this is important. Maybe for the first time Africa can help America in the case of disaster, that the people in America know how to help themselves if any nuclear material is released in the environment due to whatever accident. Not a disaster, we most probably sooner or later, we already know there's a huge amount of radioactive material in the coast of Italy. The African nation, with the small budget you have, you can prove to the rest of the world how they can help themselves. As I told you, Africa will become the flag bearer of the new technology. Yeah? So,
yes,
if you can do it through the Iranian government with support of the Ghana, because I know there's a close collaboration between Iran and Ghana, we will release the technical data into IAEA as part of the collaboration with the Keshe Foundation, Iranian Atomic Energy Authorities, and Ghanaian Atomic Energy. We collaborate as three organizations, to become a standard for the new standard for decontamination of radioactive situation. We know the answer because we know it from the Fukushima. Certain radioactive material, copper oxide, is effective. If you see any residual, you add CO2 to it for another level. And if you have beta from certain materials, you use the water which you showed it had a mercury in it. That mercury will convert to gold. Becomes a national asset. I'll guide you all the way through it. This is what's happening in Fukushima in Japan. And what you set up, we will show. When I'm in China, we do these tests very rigorously with the Chinese military and Chinese government for cleanup. But I know from 25 years ago when I used to work in Russia, in Kazakhstan, we had this problem with a lot of lakes which are heavily radioactive or mercury contaminated. This allows a new cycle. With a little amount of expenses, we can clean up most of the problems. So please ask your collaborators in IEA, in Ghana Agency, Nuclear Agency, Atomic Energy Authorities, to first of all test these waters for microbes. I'm sure CO2 will give you clearance because we've done this with the South Sierra Leone University. We already have a data from South Sierra Leone University, which they did the data on Ebola when we had the crisis. And from the nuclear atomic side, you can ask your colleagues, because you're in the Atomic Energy Authority, to do a quick test. It takes you 5 minutes literally. You add CO2, you let it settle in 1 hour, and take the waters, the one which is not treated with the CO2 and the one, and you just measure. You got the Geiger meters and everything there. You can do the Geiger counters very quickly. Could we have this report within next week?
Nash, sir, I happen to give him a lot of stuff, but they cannot maybe cope with my rate of what do you call it, sample. So
we
he has
need
to answer for himself.
Dr. Nash.
Yeah, Mr. Kesh, with
Yeah,
the
Dr. Nash.
microbiological
Pardon?
with the microbiological analysis that assignment you've given us. Yeah, that will be done at another lab, but within the same Ghana Atomic Energy. So we're now going to make arrangements with them and then get the samples for them. So hopefully, I think a week will be too short for us.
No problem. 2 weeks. Humanity
2
has
weeks,
been
correct.
contaminating for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
2 weeks is nothing.
2 weeks. Yeah, that'll be
But
fine
at
with
least
us.
if you have any preference. But I know as a nuclear physicist, it should not take you more than 10 minutes to give us a result on the nuclear contaminated.
Yeah.
You have
Okay, so 2
plenty
weeks.
of
2 weeks
cobalt.
will be okay.
You have plenty of cobalt residual from your disinfected units, which I know you have for radiation system use. I know a lot about your organization. Don't worry. So
Great. Thanks so
if you
much.
could ask, listen, we are nuclear physicists, and a few governments have access to these kind of technologies. We collaborate with different governments. We know what you carry. We're trying to support you with the cobalt for what they call it, decontamination radiation of the hospital units. I know what you carry in that place. I've seen a full, inside report. That's why we are there to support. So you have some old materials, cobalt and the others which are there. If you can contaminate it, or the water contaminated water, just add it as a contaminated water. Use the CO2 and use the copper oxide. CO2 will not show. CO2 will show maybe partially for alpha. Beta, you need to use mercury, which comes from the water. If you have cleared the water with sediment, I think you won't see such a good result. But if you, in your test in sediments, you find mercury in your sediments, then don't touch. Take them to put the sediments back in the water, add your radioactive material, and add the CO2, and then measure the sediments. Now you should see a lot of gold. You recuperate all the gold, plus you convert the mercury to gold. So this becomes national asset. You understand?
Yes, please. Yes,
So
yeah.
this is a huge. Any mercury, if any of this residual in the two rivers, you see mercury, mercury is your national asset that converts to gold. If you take the residue of the nuclear materials which you have and add copper oxide or CO2 into it as a mixture, you will see gold will rain down. You will see it. This is how we supported, TEPCO.
TEPCO?
Yeah, TEPCO with the Fukushima disaster, they are collecting gold from their tanks.
Mm-hmm.
50
Right.
kilos per tank is on average.
I see.
You understand?
That's great.
So
Yes, I
because
do.
these rivers are getting exploited for gold and they're using the mercury in it, it's very easy. If you have the radioactive material in conjunction with the gold, CO2 or copper oxide, you might need CH3 to create a chain reaction, which what we send to TEPCO as part of the conversion of tritium. You should be able to see gold dripping at the bottom. This is the only solid because you will see the shiny bit. Yeah?
Yeah.
So it becomes a
Wonderful.
national asset. You can literally sell the gold for your government and subsidize all your researchers.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
We
So 2
brought you
weeks will be
gold.
fine.
We brought you gold in the form of Benjamin. Now you can produce gold to sub. That's why I said to the CIA when they brought us into you, when I told the American government when we were introduced to you through the organization of CIA, when we were sent in to collaborate with you, we said when we come in, we make sure Ghana Space Institute and Ghana Nuclear would not look outside for any financing. Because I was aware, I studied the topology, I studied the structure of what is in Ghana and how people operate, and I was aware of this, but we have to wait till the data is there. Now the data is there, we can be open. And I thank the people within the structure of the CIA who brought us to you, because this allows us a lot of work to be done. And it's a great collaboration. And I thank the head of Ghanaian Atomic Energy and the new deputy which you received. We openly collaborate with you in every aspect. Thank you very much, Dr. Nash.
Mr. Kesh, Dr. Nana just walked in, but she's picking a call, and one of the managers for the Biological Institute is also here, Doctor, in the person of Dr. Gordon Amenope, who
Can we have him
yesterday
on the
took me.
line?
Okay, Dr. Amenope, yeah.
Hello, Kesh.
Hello, yes. Good afternoon, doctor. We just we received a report, beautiful report from your institute, from your organization, Atomic Energy. What it'll be interested,
Yes.
we've seen the sediments. What we requested now, is it possible to have a biological report? The decontamination and pre-contamination of the water, microbes and everything else. That not only we reduce the sediments and the clarity, but has the process, the waters you have left, is decontaminated from any infection, Ebola, E. coli, whatever. Is it possible if you could have such a report from you, please?
All right, Dr. Kesh, my unit actually deals with plants, animals, and so forth. And we will not be responsible for decontamination.
But you have friends within the organization, I presume.
Yes,
Okay.
but I wanted to talk about different issues.
Okay, please go ahead.
Good. My unit is Nuclear Agriculture Research Institute.
Yes.
And we normally change the genes, genetical makeup, the genes and chromosomes of crops using peaceful nuclear techniques. Right. And the current problems we are having now are related to climate. The rainfall figures are not encouraging. So we want to come out with plants that will have genes that can convert little water into food. In other words, drought-resistant plants.
Can I ask you a question? Doctor?
Yes,
We
please.
know in Africa, I worked in Africa for a long time, and I've been in the interior. We know that African ladies carry sometimes 40 different kind of seeds for different climates. They forecast how the weather is going to be, and that year they use a given seed. Is there a seed in Ghana or in part of your structure without genetically getting modified, which had the property that it can live in a drier condition? There must have been. Must be local seeds.
Yes, we have some seeds which can actually do well. Example, lima beans can thrive very well under drought conditions. We have other crops species that actually thrive well under drought conditions, like cassava, special breed cassava are also there. Although they are not seed, but they are vegetatively propagated.
So it is in the genes structure of the seeds, or the, what you call the fibers, to be able in their memory chain that somewhere down the line they could stand the droughts in Africa. That's why they survived. That's why we got them now, because genetically it's recent. Okay, what you can do, I suggest you test. This goes back in the test we showed a couple of 2 or 3 weeks ago from the research from our group in US and in Philippines. If you put your seeds, you saw the copper oxide, which is brought the sediment down from the water. Put the same copper oxide in a container and add water to it. Take the water, or put the copper oxide in a container and put another container inside it with water, and put your seeds in it for about 10 minutes, no more than 10-15 minutes. And take the seed out and plant it. These seeds will take up to 80% less moisture to grow, which means any drought condition can be met. These seeds will grow much faster for a shorter season. We know this. I did this test over 9 years ago, 8 years ago. So instead of going genetically modifying, trying to stand drought and pest, if you go on the Keshe Foundation, the work 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago is on the net. It's on the agricultural green, what you call a blueprint. Just try. Benjamin is with you. Don't do anything else. Just put your seeds in the same CO2 copper oxide, or in the same CO2 which you use to create the sediments to clean up the water. Put this CO2 or copper oxide in the bucket, and put a bucket inside it, and put your seeds and water in there. Leave that bucket for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever you choose, because the more you leave it, the more you strip the outer energy of the gene, and you go back to original seeds thousands of years ago. We know this from experience in Belgium. So take your seed, put it in a bucket, put some water in it, and put that bucket in a bucket which contains CO2, and then leave it for 10 or 15 minutes. Just stir it and cultivate.
All right.
Is Dr. Gwagwa in US, who's going to Kenya, is he with us? Is he online?
Yes, I'm handing over to Dr. Nana.
Hello?
Yes, I'm online. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Dr. Mugaba, are you with us?
Yes, please.
No, you're cutting off. There is something wrong with your line.
Yeah, we can hear him fine, Mr. Keshe.
Caroline, can you cut? He's downloading.
I'm here.
Hello?
Hello?
I can't hear you.
Oh, Dr. Keshe, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, something at your end, Mr. Keshe.
Rick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
I can hear all of you.
Rick?
Yes, hello? You have to get a hold of Mr. Keshe here. Second.
I can hear you fine.
My audio is out. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Cash. Hello. I have to go to...
Hello, I cannot hear anybody. I can hear broken voices.
Do you want me to mute?
Hello.
Which video, pardon me, Vince? Okay, we'll put his other voice on, let's say. Get that lined up here. And we'll share the screen.
Hello? Can you hear me? I can hear the recording.
Yes, right. Okay, I'll leave it where it is there and just pause it then.
Okay, can we go to Ghana, please, or can we go to US?
Hello. Okay. Ghana is online.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Should I make my submissions again?
Yes. Do we have Ghana online? Do we have
Yes.
Benjamin with us?
We have. Yes, please.
Okay. Can we go?
We are online. Ghana is online.
Okay. Can we go to United States to Dr. Ogaba in US?
I'm online.
Okay, can you enlighten us there, because you're going to be part of the Keshe Foundation in Africa, and you've done these tests. Can you explain to our colleagues in Ghana what you did and what the result was, that they know they have a guideline?
Yes, please. I planted potatoes treated with water as control and treated with CO2 gas water. And the ones that I treated with CO2 gas water matured 2 weeks earlier, and the weight per potato was not different from control. Maturity was faster for potatoes treated with CO2 gas water, and all I did was submerge the the potatoes in CO2 gas water for 5 hours before planting. And my presentation, I can see it online. I guess Rick has it online.
Yes. What we've seen with Dr. Mkoba is that it supports the research in the past that if you can even nano-coat copper pipes before you outside of the pipe that pass the water through, you will find out that the harvest is much better. You'll get a better harvest too. So and you need less water. Our research in US from the Cash Foundation Innovation shows you don't need to water 7 days a week. You can water twice a week, for example. So by the use of CO2, water of the CO2, you never change the amount. You keep the bucket of the CO2. You just put a bucket of water, and you just whatever you need to put. You want to put potatoes, you put it in there and leave it for a while. You want to do seeds, you do it for 1 hour. Potato is different because it's more dense. With seeds, we've seen 10 to 20 minutes is more than enough, and you plant the seeds. And then you can even water it with the water of the CO2, the same water which you put the seed in. You can keep it in the bucket and keep on watering the plant with it. You'll find out you need much less water, which instead of let's say 100 liter, you use something like 20 liter of water. The harvest we have seen in research done, very controlled research in Belgium, your harvest goes up by 3 to 5 times in foliage, which is good for the animals, and you will see that the cultivation time reduces by up to 30%. So you can cultivate in the time of drought in a shorter time, get the harvest, and you can do a lot with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Dr. Gwagawa is going to run the Cash Foundation in Kenya. And we bring all the Cash Foundations in Africa together to collaborate. Is there anything else from Ghana you would like us to help you with, or because we can collaborate together?
All right. Can we get the Kenyan contact so that we can communicate with him?
If you want, I send him with pleasure to Ghana. He can stay with you for a while. He's a doctor in agriculture, his economy. He can help you and then transfer the knowledge. I know you have a close connection with the Atomic Energy in Kenya, that he can transfer the whole thing to Kenya. Some of your colleagues in Kenya already use the energy units which was built by Benjamin, which they took to Kenya. I organized that. He will come to you, and then from there to Ghana. Is that good with you, Dr. Oba?
That's perfect. I would also very much like to go there and talk to Benjamin and the rest of his group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we organize this within the next 2 weeks before we go to China. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
And I want to make another submission from Ghana.
Go ahead, please.
All right. Are you please in favor of GM modifying crops?
No.
All right. In my job line, I don't do gene transfer or genetic engineering, but what I am trained to do is to use nuclear energy to modify the genetical composition of crops for drought tolerance, disease resistance, high yield, high beta carotene levels, to prevent blindness of children. Is it also acceptable to you using nuclear energy, pure nuclear energy, not gene slicing?
Okay. As you know, I'm a nuclear physicist.
Right.
And so I have got a fairly good experience in this respect. In the nuclear industry, we use radiation, which is a one-way track. We only give the magnetical. When you use the CO2 the way we just discussed, you will find out you get what you're looking for because you use a plasma condition, which means you give and take, and it brings a new dimension into the world of seed genes or genetic. At the moment you bombard the seed to change it. In fact, if you use the CO2 or if you don't get the result with the water of the CO2, use the water of copper oxide for a more effective pressure. In a way, it's not a radiation pressure, it's a magnetic gravitational pressure. So in a way, the seed will modify to what it needs to do. You understand? So,
all right.
And it's the way the universe works. In nuclear industry, we force energy in. With the new plasma technology, we allow the seed to find its own balance. And it works more effective. You have no radiation hazard. You don't need to decontaminate anything. But the only thing is, if you don't get the result you want with the CO2, go one level higher, go to copper oxide. And usually with the seeds, the copper oxide is the maximum you need to do. So if you ask Benjamin, if you have the seeds, do the radiation process and do the same in parallel with CO2 and copper oxide. Or if you want to increase the energy, add a CH3 to it. Or you can mix these. And you find out with less than no cost, you can do exactly what you need for. But in a way, if you look at it in nuclear industry, radiation is adding energy into.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes.
This way, you add a plasmatic energy which is balanced and acceptable to the seed. So you get the same result, a balanced seed, and exactly how you wanted it to work with zero cost.
All right. So I can understand you that your method, CO2 plus CH3 method, is to reverse the plant to original state that God actually made it in the days of old.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. We've seen these results up to now.
All right. What if I want to increase beta carotene level 100-fold? If I want to
with a mixture. Play with a mixture of 3 or 4 ganses.
All right.
Till you get the mixture you like, with let's say 10% of this, 20% of the other. You see where you are giving energy or where you want to take energy. And the copper oxide has the property of taking energy in certain levels. But if you add it with zinc oxide GaNs, which Benjamin can make very easily, you find out it allows the balance within the seed structure. We know this from research in a couple of cases. So Benjamin has to give you a separate, let's say 4 or 5 different ganses, which cost nothing. You've seen it in your center. And then you play with different mixture till you get it right, and the seed will respond, because it's not the radiation. The problem with the genetic modification now is we radiate to dislocate and put it where we want it. This way is a gravitational magnetical. It goes to where you want it, but it's in balance with it. So it's not genetically modified. It accepts a condition. It processes itself to what you want it to do, without any radiation at no cost.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much. I've done a certain amount of work as a nuclear physicist in this section of the seeds. I started it in 2008, 7-8, and I have seen the crops which usually die, they last 4 months more than their usual, and you can keep on cutting the harvest, and it comes back.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
thanks for
Dr. Kesh, I would like to hand over the mic to Nana.
Thank you very much
Dr.
indeed.
Nana is here with me.
Thank you very much indeed, Doctor.
Thank you.
I will explain everything to Benjamin in how to make the materials ready for you that you just test. Thank you.
Good day, Mr. Kesh. This is Nana.
Hi, good day, Dr. Nagana. How are you, Dr. Nana?
I'm fine, thank you.
Are you happy with the results?
Sure. We're making a lot of progress and I'm happy with it. So we've been discussing it at the authority level from time to time, and on the MOU, I think it's close to final. But the lawyer wanted to be clear on some things. Especially she wants to know how CARES Foundation will be infused into the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission system. So should it be a department under the Ghana Space Science and Technology Institute, or it should be a joint company? So
We prefer to keep our independence to be a joint company, but embedded in Ghana Space Institute or Energy, which is the Atomic Energy Authority.
Okay. So
Because I know if the rule changes in the country and the leadership or the parliament passes a new law, we lose the control. But this way we stay independent and we can operate and serve the nation.
Okay. So we can make it clear in the MOU then. So I'll
Yes,
put
please.
some things together and share it with you again.
Thank you very much indeed for your time. Dr.
So,
Nana,
thank you. Yes.
how can we proceed with these results from what we've seen from the Atomic Energy Authorities now?
Yeah. We need to.
Can we commercialize it rapidly, or can it be used to be commercialized?
Yeah, we need to go over all the tests again, all the experiments again, through the scientific processes, do the tests again, and invite other institutions which are doing similar work to be witnesses to those tests. And then we can go public. Once we go public,
We are already public. You're listened to by 100 million people. If this is not public,
No,
I don't know what is public.
Okay, I mean, to get it accepted in the Ghanaian community,
Yeah.
we need to talk to, we have Water Research Institute or Commission Institute, who is the authority for water issues or water resources in Ghana. So we need to have all our documents right and then talk to them. They can give us the authority to probably go ahead with water treatment and other issues about water in Ghana.
I think your biggest problem is your secretary to get the figures in the right column. Otherwise, everything else is easy.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for your long-standing collaboration and cooperation with us.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Thank you indeed for your time. Thank you indeed.
Thank you.
Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please produce as much as you can the gases of CO2, copper oxide, CH3, and what do you call it? Zinc oxide. And provide these in a given quantity to the doctor that they can use it for their seed. Make sure there is no salt content, because if you have a salt content, the salt will transfer its plasmatic condition to the seed. And then that can cause you sometimes is to benefit. It allows the salt in the seed to extract moisture from the environment, so it becomes a sink for watering the plant itself. And in some plants, this works the other way around. So try to give them the gases with salt water, don't wash it, and try to give them GANs with the washed GANs. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what this will do, the plant is looking for a moisture, and the moisture comes through the salt content within the DNA of the gene of the seed. So if you add in some seeds the salt water to be there, because now salt behaves as a gas state of the salt, not as a salt as matter state, will bring the gene into a state of being like a thirsty, And instead of drought killing it from outside, it calls for the water, the moisture to come to it. And it creates its own water moisture. In some countries, we've seen that effect. In some countries, due to the climate, it doesn't seem to be responding. So allow them to test both with the salt and without the salt in all 4 of them, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kesh, I'm already collaborating with him in other, what do you call it, crop matters. Yes, I think last 3 days, huh? Last 3 days, he took me around acreable lands where I can do a lot of experiments concerning agriculture. So it's in line. So I'm working with him already. And he
What
has...
you got to learn, Benjamin, get yourself a meter, 2 meter of copper pipe, nano coat it from outside, cover it with a plastic tube, and let the water go through it very slowly. And feed your plants all the time with this pipe. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So what you do, as you water, you feed. You add energy to your water, plasmatic, and the plants will grow totally different. And when you do it, try to spread the watering, not to every day. If you plant one side every day, plant these waters, measure the amount of water, that you know how much you're watering, and that's what it is. You got to understand, at the moment, water shortage, water distribution, agriculture has become a big game. For example, China is short of water. What they have done, they have leased properties in Africa and in Argentina. What they're buying is a water rain, they're called water rain purchase for agriculture. The water rain in those districts are used to make soya to be shipped back to China. So you got to take a measurement of how much water you're feeding to the plants, not just feeding it and looking at the plant, how it's growing or if it's growing faster. Measure if you give 100 liters there, if you're giving 20 liters. This is the real test of the technology. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And connect if you're watering with a hose pipe, measure the water. If you're measuring with the hose, with the tanks, add a copper pipe, nano coated from outside, not inside. Put a plastic on it that it doesn't get destroyed, and water it and measure it. You will see the difference. Very quickly you see 70-80% reduction in the water consumption, and you will see up to 30%, up to 4 times, 5 times more what we call foliage. So when you work with them, work correctly, and then you do the seeds with the salt, without the salt, and then you see how they want.
Okay.
There is no need to use of radiation anymore in any food and agriculture. Now we have this technology.
Okay. I was about to, before I completed with the water thing, I showed a picture of what we have actually done, and it
Carry
shows
on. Would you like to share with us the screen?
Okay. Yes. So, where are you? Yeah. I've okay.
Rick has to stop, then you can come in. Yeah, come in now.
There you go.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick.
So, thanks, Rick. Where is my exit? Give me a minute to start my PowerPoint again. So the last part is what I'm about to share with you.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, there's a problem, but we are on the...
It's coming up. You're coming up. There we are.
Okay.
You have the last picture we see now. Yeah, please.
That's the last picture we see. This is what we are about to do. So you see the ends. There's a connection point at where the tube bends. That is where we are going to put the nano coated tube outside so that it will water the plant. And these beds have seeds which have been nano treated in different configurations. So I have all the permutations also drawn, and once it's ready, my IT guy is a bit indisposed, so he's not here, but I have seen that he has done a lot of work so far. There are some few corrections I want him to do on them, and then we can share it so that those who have expert knowledge in this field can also add their knowledge to it. So that is
Benjamin, when do you start this process?
I just went to see Dr. Amenope to see the land, but already I have started the process already somewhere, but I'm not getting the full cooperation from that end, so I have even abandoned that project. But this one, I will have people who will be able to man it for me, because here, if you give something
You
to
know
somebody,
what we can do, Benjamin?
Yes, sir.
The
Yes, sir.
biggest agricultural university in Africa, the most famous one, has been South Sierra Leone University.
Okay.
It was a jewel in the crown of the agricultural universities in Africa till the problem started a few years ago. We always promised, the chancellor of the university, he wants to bring back the university back to what it was. We have still the situation with Ebola there. But maybe between you and Dr. Haba, which is coming to you
Godwin.
from the United States, we can join you up with these professors in South Sierra Leone University, because they need this for food. Would it be possible that we can put you together in that way? Because one of the seeds I think you got to try, except cassava, is rice.
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 We are in position.
Try to see how you can do, because what Americans have done over past 20 decades, they imported American rice so cheap that it was not worth for the farmers locally to produce it. So now they are forced to buy, and the new seeds are agriculturally modified that it doesn't give them what they need for the next harvest. If you can show how you can reverse what I call the genetic modification of the seeds, which you can do, and share it with the scientists in Kenya and in Sierra Leone, I think we achieve a major production in rice. And we can even go back to the original rice, which a lot of we can grow in the dry season.
Okay.
This is fantastic. What
not
you
in
have
it,
put in front of me in that picture, what I've been trying to do for nearly 2 years. You dangled the bait, so now I bet. Now you better do. And I'll bring as part of the collaboration the director of the ex-director of Central Bank of Sierra Leone, to be collaborating with you with this. And he's ex-director of the World Bank, and he's very good in these things. He is from Africa, and he understands the problems. And we can raise a lot of funds in Africa for this project to stop the processed genes.
Okay. So in line with this, I have told Nash that I'm bringing some samples to his lab. So we'll do after and before soil sample analysis. And the water that will be used to water this crop will be tested periodically to find what is in the intake point and the, what do you call it, the outtake point and the intake point. So we'll do that and see what is inside before it gets past the nano exit, so that we'll also know.
Can I ask our colleague in US, how fast can you get to Ghana? Is your suitcase ready?
Oh, I'm ready, but I thought I would go to Kenya first and then go to Ghana. That may be easier.
Either way, let me know when you travel, and we finance the rest of it the minute you tell me you're moving.
Okay, thank you.
Please, because I think with your experience you've done, you can bring correct test trials in Ghana and transfer the knowledge back to Kenya.
Definitely, I look forward to doing that. Thank you.
Anytime you fly, we'll support you. It's all in your hand from now on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much for a beautiful job, Benjamin. Try to support the measurement of the what do you call it, microbes and bacteria in the water, if you can do that. I could carry it with me
Okay, we'll
before
do
I go
that.
to China. And the contamination of radioactive material is a gift from Africa to Americans if this disaster happens and we get radiation spillage, because the number of nuclear reactors sits on the right boundaries of the plates. It'll be fantastic. You're sitting right inside the Atomic Energy Authority, and we can ask our colleagues in Iran for a direct collaboration and transfer of technology in different ways.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks, Dr. Nana, Dr. and all your support in the Institute. All the best. We'll see you next Thursday.
So they are interested in the space aspect also. So I told them we are in position to build our first spacecraft here, and it has gone around. Actually, Professor Dr. Shlo should have been here, but because of a lot of meetings that he's having now, he couldn't be here.
We will collaborate very quickly. We need for them to appoint people who are as part of the space technology, who you have thought and understand the technology. We bring them in the space in a spaceship team. We bring they let them appoint Ghanaian scientists who understand our technology in the space, and then we bring them straight away into the Spaceship Institute, what they call it, teaching group. Pardon?
Our UPS will go off any moment.
Hello, you can't hear you. You're down somewhere. Get the microphone.
Okay, we are saying that our UPS will go off any moment from now.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for being with us.
And quickly, Dr. Kesh, this is Godwin again.
Yes, Dr. Godwin.
A lot of seeds are being sent to the moon for cosmic radiation mutation breeding. So I'm interested in space technology. If you can pack some seeds and send it there, and then bring it up and see how they can actually grow in comparison with the one we modified in Ghana.
With the greatest of pleasure. I'll organize it with Benjamin.
All right.
And we'll speak together in time to sort it out.
All right.
Thank you very much, Dr. Godwin.
Thank you so much.